Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and, Gentry.
Turn that music up. Turn the music up. Cut it. Oh, my God.
Come on. Okay,
Oh, my God.
Well, for those who don't know, the music we were using, it was non-copyrighted music, but, the artist out of nowhere was like, you know what, let's copyright it. So instead of sharing revenue here,
I vote. We had the people like, do you guys want that music? Because that music is straight trash.
Yeah,
he's the music critic around here, dude. Like, get 30 seconds into the show, Jeff, music too loud. I feel like I'm an avatar swimming through the ocean right now. What did you say?
That was good, actually. That was
felt
good.
Like I was.
Hey, you're just holding us to high standards, Booner. That's all.
Just want to be great.
Yeah, if there's any producers out there that want to maybe customize a beat that we could give you credit to, then go ahead. Which you won't copyright strike us, and we got to share some revenue. But something we can own, feel free.
We need to get our own intro thing. Like, how Pat McAfee has like the "Let's go." We need like our own intro song. We need that.
Mm-hmm. Trying to level up here, Bill. I'm with you.
Yeah, we need it. We need our own like hype video and everything.
Well, boys, it's going to be a hype show. I'll tell you that. We got a lot to talk about. 33rd team came out with their latest mock. You're going to want to see who they had falling to the Detroit Lions. I was shocked when I first saw it. We're also going to talk about Aaron Glenn. We haven't really had a discussion about Aaron Glenn. We've had a discussion about the defense. So I want to ask a question. Do you believe Aaron Glenn is he the man to put this defense, make it a top 10 unit, top 12, wherever, one of the best, at least top 12, that's being, I guess, hopeful, but can he be the guy to lead this defense? Now, we're also going to talk about something else here that Lukas put out, which I thought was really good. A question about which first-round pick will take the most significant jump next season. Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll talk about that. But before, and also J.J McCarthy, because some data. I have some data on J.J., and I want Booner to kind of break it down. He's the resident JJ fan. He thinks he's very high on what JJ can be. Well, I have some data. Booner, you're gonna have to be the voice of the JJ stands. Is that the right word for it? Stands?
As always. Well, no, it should just be the voice of reason, because I'm going to be reasonable outside of people who hate on JJ just because he went to Michigan and won a national championship and didn't put numbers up. Numbers are everything. Don't forget.
Yeah, some would say numbers are everything.
Should be a top 10 pick from numbers, right? Oh, wait, what? Oh,
well, the numbers are definitely weighed and measured. I think it matters a little bit. But we'll get to that JJ discussion later in the first hour. But boys, you can't do a show today on Thursday, April 11th, without mentioning OJ Simpson, and he passed away. So, why are you laughing? What's funny? What's funny?
Squeezed. I'm sorry. Hold on. If people are like, oh, you can't make fun of if you don't feel bad for OJ dying, you're a bad person. People like that. Like, hold on. Let's rewind like a month ago. Let me ask you fellas this. Okay. If Cam Sutton, instead of strangling that girl, which we were all pissed off about, killed that female, and he died like 2 weeks later, would you feel bad? No. Well, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Didn't fit. You must have quit.
No, yeah, so this is where I'm at with it. I don't know.
Obviously guilty. The man killed two people. Was able to live rent-free. There's people that are dying in car accidents that are innocent, that you feel terrible for. Those are the people that you feel bad for. You don't feel bad for people who murdered two people.
I'm gonna say this. I never watched the documentary. I never even cared about what happened. Like, I wasn't even born, I don't think, when this happened. I know it's a big sports thing and everyone loves to talk about it. I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like, either way, like, rest in peace to the people that happened. Don't care. OJ, like, cool, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
am I wrong for that? But like, that's
the most wild move is OJ writing a book titled "If I Did It."
Hear about that? Yeah, I did.
Like that, and he did that like 10 plus years ago. But that
I just know that there's two like
very. If I did it.
Side like the whole world is split into two sides when it comes to OJ, and it's like the side that thinks he did it and the side that doesn't, and both sides are like extremely passionate about it. So I've decided in my life to stay in the middle and go, I don't even want to hear the whole story or watch it because I don't even want to get involved in this. You know what I mean?
To sum it up, like Booner, he had the most elite. I don't know what you want, but his lawyers were the best in the world. Like he had the Kardashian lawyers. Like it was impossible for him to lose in a world where money.
Mattered. wasn't like the Kardashian dad
I
the
can't
lawyer?
remember the name. Yes.
I think it was Kim's
Think
dad,
about how
like the real dad,
you are.
not the other guy.
Like you're OJ Simpson in LA and you have the biggest lawyer in LA. Like money can buy you anything.
Yeah, they literally called the team that OJ had to represent him. They referred to him as the Dream Team. That was the team of lawyers that represented OJ. So, like, I mean, you know,
I want to say too to John Hughes, not the coward's way, just the right way. Just sometimes there's just things in life you just don't put yourself in. You just stay out. This is one of those things for me.
Well, boys, before we continue here, I do want to give a shout out to those who were here first at the beginning of the stream. John Hughes, appreciate you. Anakin Skywalker, we got Mike Reed in here. ETN, Coach Walk, we got Sticky Finger. That's a wild name. I appreciate it. Lucas's Long Log is also making an appearance. That is also big time. That is big time. Of course, Anakin Skywalker, appreciate you guys for joining the show. Yeah, when I first saw this, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and this is kind of sick, but this is why we have this show, so I can admit these things. The OJ memes, like, okay, I'll get to there, okay? OJ Simpson, one of the greatest running backs. I will admit that, right? He got 2,000 yards in like 14 games. I think him and Barry Sanders, like the only two running backs to ever do that. So he's a hell of a football player. That cannot be disputed. Now that rest in peace. Now let's get to the memes. They got me today, boys.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Memes.
Do you guys the fantasy football one where he did fantasy football and he drafted Andrew Luck and an hour later Andrew Luck came out and retired from football and he's just sitting there like oh my gosh, man. That's one of the funniest videos of all time. No matter, I don't care if it's OJ or not. That's just like the chances of that happening and it being OJ Simpson. It's one of the funniest things.
Did you guys see the X account called Satan?
No.
It's like an X account. It's an X account called Satan, and it's got like 2 million followers. And he tweeted, and he's like, "Oh shit, OJ Simpson just walked out or came down or like, shit, OJ just walked in or something." It had like 100 tons of likes and engagement. I was dead. Like people posting OJ Simpson highlights, like OJ dodging demons in hell or something like that. Like it's like sick.
OJ on his way to meet Aaron Hernandez. That one got me.
Well, I saw one. It was like, who was the wrestler? Chris Benoit. You guys remember him when he killed his family at CTE? Mm-hmm. Who was it? Chad, help me out. I'm not the biggest wrestling fan, but Chris, whatever it was. Anyway, someone who tragically murdered his family. It said like OJ, Aaron Hernandez, and like Chris Benoit or whatever the name is, and they're all like they're coming out like as like the dream team. They're all in hell for sure.
It's such a weird. Did you see the video that I sent of the interview, the OJ interview? This was my favorite thing. I've never seen this interview before, but he was on like a talk show and they did callers, which is probably the dumbest thing to do with the guy like OJ. And the caller was like, how does it feel to be the only guy to run for 2,000 yards and kill 2 people or something? And then OJ was like, OJ was like, sorry, I didn't hear you there. He cut out for a little bit, and then they just cut the caller off.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
a lot of things came out today. It was. You know,
I remember when OJ first got Twitter. Did you say when he first got on? And he was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, everybody, like OJ here. I'm on Twitter now," and everyone's like, "Did you do it? Did you do it?" And he's just like, he tried to give like analysis on the games, and everyone's like, "Dude, I don't give a fuck about your analysis. Like, did you do it?"
I went on his Twitter today, like even up till like a month ago, he just like every week just posts like a video, just like on the golf course. Nice to see you guys today.
Yeah, Jesus.
I wonder what that's like, dude. Just being like walking around innocent, but everybody knows that you're guilty. You know,
yeah,
like I wonder.
You brought that up, Jeff, to prove it.
In case you guys didn't see already.
Yeah, he died of prostate cancer, which is a terrible disease there. So
that would be
terrible cancer. Wow. So you know what? It's not. I didn't even know we had it, to be honest. That's how like checked out I've been with OJ Simpson. I just didn't even know. So that
I don't think anyone did, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I was I was on my computer working on some things, and I checked my phone. I see OJ Simpson, and it didn't continue the tweet. And I'm like, what happened with OJ? Like, I'm clicking on this. Like, what's going on with OJ? And it's like OJ passed away. I'm like, oh shit, that's not the news I was expecting on a Thursday in almost the middle of April. But hey, rest in peace, OJ. We'll see where he ends up.
Yeah, we'll see what. Yeah, we won't. We'll never will. Who knows? I wonder if the truth will ever come out. Like, if he wrote like a letter or something, or like they have like some in his will or something, like everything. Maybe, I don't know. I'm interested. Maybe something will come out. Who knows?
Coach Walk says the Howard Stern show had a segment interviewed him asking if OJ had any tips for getting blood out of carpets. That is such a Howard Stern question, dude.
Bro, Howard Stern. I wish I was alive for the Howard Stern era. I wish. That would have been
legend.
He was ahead of his time.
Isn't he still going?
Maybe.
Howard Stern
I think he's still but it's not like there was a time where
what his downfall was when podcasts first came out, Howard Stern was like the face of this shit is not going to work. You need to stick to radio. So now when all these podcasts would blow up, like it backfired. Then he had huge beef with Rogan.
Tough luck.
So yeah,
beef with Rogan usually doesn't end well. So
no,
that's the wrong one.
Everyone's found that one out.
Now that we got the OJ discussion, I can't believe we had an OJ topic here. But yeah, we'll get to the Lions here. We were going to talk Red Wings back half of the show because they have currently playing a game. And the Gentry's locked in. He's going to give us his update, get a wellness check on him, just like we always do with Michael Gentry. But for now, you see what Rod Wood said about the uniforms. And I thought this was super interesting. This is Barstool Detroit. They put this out. But Rod Wood said, and I quote, "I think our goal was to honor the past, but also put a modern twist on it. So I think when you see them, you'll see both of those things. And you'll see, hopefully, uniforms that propel us for at least the next 5 years to be one of the great uniforms in the NFL." That was Lions president and CEO Rod Wood. That was per Dave Perkett. And you got like more of a hint, though, fellas, with this quote, right?
Yeah.
Like you saw it. It said, our goal was to honor the past, but put a modern twist on it.
I like it.
I think you'll see both those things, and it led to people kind of assuming, like putting different designs. I know Lucas, I think you brought that up, the getting more old school.
I want them to go back to the jerseys they had during like Barry, Spielman, Herman Moore, when they got the white stripes on the side. I just think those look clean. The lettering, it pops. Like I have a Barry jersey from when it was like when they were wearing it, and every time I still think that's the best looking jersey that I own. So you can imagine like Amon-Ra, Panay. Like, I just see all these old teams, like, they kind of go back to the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, the Falcons, the Eagles. And I just think if the Lions, I don't think it'd be to that level. But if you make a uniform look clean, like, especially when it's throwbacks, it's easy to pull off. Mm-hmm. Like, the black ones, if you do one thing wrong with the black, it can look corny. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's another black uniform.
Yeah.
But retro.
Yeah, I think the uniform. I'm interested to see. I think I don't know. They say it's going to be the best in the NFL, so it better be. They set the expectation pretty high. I mean, he did.
That's come a high expectation, though. That's a high expectation. I mean,
for sure. So I'm interested to see that. I don't know. I think it's next Thursday. It is. And Eduardo said Nike's been doing a great job with the unis. That was why I think a lot of people wanted to do hated the black uniforms. But like at the end of the day, it's like the Nike uniforms they've done them very, very well. So I like if they did the black uniforms, I think they're going to be able to do them really well. So I'm fine with it. I think I'm excited to see what they do. I think it's going to be a more futuristic look, but with some of the retro within it. Like you're going to see that Nike futuristic, and then it's going to have the retro in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw certified supply chain professional. He put in there, I'll be at the uniform reveal at Ford Field in 1 week. Tickets for $10. Wow.
Damn.
So that's a hell of a deal there. $10 you get to see the unis. I didn't even know that was a thing. Honestly.
Yeah. Might pull up then. Damn.
Yeah. I'm curious. I can't wait. I can't. It's funny when he mentioned get like an old twist to it. When I first mentioned the blacks, or not just, it's not like I did. I mean, a lot of people did. I know, right. Booner, you like the idea of the kind of getting the black unis too. People always brought up like, why would you wear those? That reminds of the times that were bad. But then when they hear Rod Wood say, we're going to go back to times, you assume it's not going to be the bad times, right? You assume it's going to be like, the 90s. I would assume, because the people won't like anything else. That's what I was told. And I disagree with that. To me, uniforms, they don't dictate really anything. Besides, if you really like the uniform, maybe you have another type of swagger, some confidence. But like the Pistons wore teal. They lost a lot of games because they stink. It's not because they wore teal. It's because they stink.
Dude,
you know,
this is the argument that I've had with people. It's you're gonna get mad and say, oh, it's like the teal, like you're bad with the black uniforms. You went 0-16. Guess what, dude? You had bad years in every uniform that you had as a Detroit Line.
Yeah,
so like,
well
you want them just
there
to change their colors and then team name and everything about it? Like, you've never won a Super Bowl. It's not like it's like you've won Super Bowls with some. Let's go back to those ones. No, like, you've never done that. I'm going to stick with, like, I want the black uniforms back. They look sweet. Some of them around the NFL look awesome in the Nike ones. I'll stick on that. I don't care if you're like, oh, they're loser. No, they're not. They're not loser ones. Every uniform the Lions have ever worn are loser ones besides last year.
I mean, even this comment here from Randy. He said, guys, our merchandise sales were in top 5 till we went 0-16. Lions have always been badass. Like, yeah, I mean, even if they stink, I don't think a uni had everything to do with it. I mean, come on, let's be real here. Even though I do, one of my favorite Prime quotes is you look good, you feel good, you feel good, you play good, you play good, they pay good. Like, and there's some truth to that, right? Like, hey, there is some truth to that, but it's not everything. I don't think they'll go black though. I think that's off the table.
I think they stick with the gray. I think there's going to be something black within it. I do think so.
You do?
Because there was the announcement today as well that you can have extra helmets now. There's an added helmet, so you can have that retro one. You can have and I think it's just the actual helmet. It's not like a design. So like the Thanksgiving one and the gray helmet is all one because they just basically take the sticker off. So like you can have those that counts as one. You can have the black helmet that they had last year, and then you can get another one like a white helmet or something. I think they're going to do maybe like an all white uniform with the white helmet. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's some sort of black uniform within it. So,
Eduardo says, "Are y'all doing a breakdown as they get revealed? What time are they getting revealed?"
It's going to be around our show.
Said it's during the show.
Yeah, so I probably will.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably
do it
live when it's happening.
That's breaking news that we want. Like live unis. Yes, we would absolutely be reacting to that live. But fellas, I do want to transition here because it is something that I don't think we've talked about. We've talked about it, right? We've talked about the defense, but specifically, we haven't really talked about Aaron Glenn, right?
No.
And I know we're going to talk a lot about Aaron Glenn as the season approaches, but just kind of your confidence level, because we say if this team is a Super Bowl contender, which they are, if this team can make a Super Bowl appearance, which we think they can, you got to have a top 12, top 10 defense, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And do you believe that Aaron Glenn can be the captain of that ship? Can he lead this defense to being a top 10, top 12 unit? Whatever it is, significantly more improved from last year. Because one thing I've always said about Aaron Glenn, and I think we've all agreed because I've done content with you guys before and we've always been in lockstep with this, is you're asking someone to cook a gourmet meal without gourmet ingredients, which is like a tough thing to do. And I think the defense, the bend don't break approach worked in the playoffs, certainly, but at some point it's got to give. And you saw that in the second half of the championship game. Obviously turnovers didn't help. Other things went into it. I would argue decision-making, drops, certainly.
Doink off a face mask.
Doinks off of face masks, a lot of things, but the defense didn't help. If you would have got to Brock once or twice in the second half, you might have had a shot. So we all agree that he needs more talent. But do you think, and I'll just say it, like, is it make or break, given the talent they've added and the draft that's approaching? Because we assume they're going to upgrade that defense even more come draft time.
I mean, for me personally, my bad, Booner. Did you want to go?
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you. I was just saying, I think Aaron Glenn, I really do not have any stress with Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn, he's been a guy that situationally has been able to play smart defense. And if you just look around this defense a little bit, you look at Ife Melifonwu, Alex Anzalone is playing the best football of his career. Look what he did with Malcolm Rodriguez. You look around, and I know that has a lot to do with positional coaches, but Aaron Glenn, the scheme that he runs, and you look around the teams that win Super Bowls around the league, it stopped the run and play man-to-man coverage. The only teams that really didn't do that when winning Super Bowls, it was the Seattle Seahawks, and they were a zone team. But you look back, even this year with the Chiefs, the Rams when they had Jalen Ramsey, man team. You can go back. It's man defense is what wins championships in this league. And you can see that Aaron Glenn is very built on that. And he's, to your point, Jeff, which you just brought up, Cam Sutton and Kendall Vildor are not going to help you out man coverage when you don't have a pass rush. So the improvement to this front seven, I think, is going to help him out. And he's really going to be able to do what he wants to because he's never been able to run his scheme at all. I think it's the first year he's going to be able to. And I have zero doubt that he's not going to be able to put this team at least in a top 15 defense, which is where I think they need to be.
A lot of pressure on Now, I would argue the run defense, Boone, solid, very good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it comes down to this: it's the personnel, and I said this last year. I mean, I was going at AG last year for a little bit, and then he took so long halfway through to start. Hey, we probably don't have the defensive line. We probably don't have the secondary. We need to do something. Let's start sending dudes. We started sending Brian Branch, Anzo, Derek Barnes. Guys started to get sent, and you're blitzing all the time. You're doing different schemes, and I think when he's kind of made that change, that was when things started changing, and you started winning football games. You went on a playoff run. Now I do think I just look at the last 2 years. 2023, you're 23rd in the NFL in points allowed per game at 23 points. 2022, 29th in the NFL. That's terrible. You're at the bottom of the NFL in points allowed per game. The only reason you've been good the last 2 years, in my opinion, is because you've had a top 5 offense. That's saved you through the last 2 years when you finished the year 8-2 2 years ago, and then you went. You went to the NFC Championship this year. So, you have to be able to, you have to have a good start. And Adam's been saying this as well. And this was something that I brought up at the beginning of last year, was you have to have a top 15 defense in the NFL if you have a top 5 offense to make a run at a Super Bowl in this league. That's a must. You can't just have the best offense in the NFL, not have a defense and expect to win football games. You're going to get into shootouts. There's too many good football teams out there. There's too many players. There's too much of that. So, you have to find a way. And I think this year, a defensive line now, you added DJ Reader and you have him with Hutch and Aleem. The linebacker core, Jack Campbell's going to take a step. Anzo, Barnes, Rodrigo. And then you have, an elite safety core, in my opinion. So I think a lot of these guys, and you know what too is a little these guys are growing a little bit. They're getting older. These aren't rookies anymore. This isn't second year. You're going into Hutch. You're going into year 3. Aleem, you're going into year 3 or 4 now. DJ Reader's a vet. Jack Campbell, you're going into year 2. Anzo's a vet. The secondary, Kirby's no longer a young guy. He's a 3rd-year guy. So these guys, it's time to step up. You have the personnel now. Now go out there and do it. And I think you're going to add more in the draft, which is going to help. But at this point, there's no more excuses to not have a top 15 defense. If AG is, and I'm an AG fan, but if he's that good of a defensive coordinator who is out there getting head coaching looks, you should be able to put a top 15 defense with these guys that you have out there now. That's where I'll stand on that too. And if he doesn't have that the first 6 weeks, there's going to be a problem. And I'll be one of the first ones to say it.
I will say this, fellas, about AG. I have said in the past, and I do believe, I think he would be a really good head coach because of his leadership and how he speaks to players. He's a leader of men, which is important in today's NFL. You're seeing the tide kind of switch, not completely switch, but offensive minds, which is still very true. It's something I prefer with my head coach. But now you're seeing these rise in leaders of men, which is like D'Amico. You have now with Dan Campbell, obviously, but you look at the Falcons and what they're doing. Who's the head coach of the Falcons? Why am I blanking? Defensive coordinator for
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. Thank you. Defensive coordinator for the Rams last year.
Raheem Morris.
More leaders of men. Todd Bowles out with the Buccaneers. So I do think AG would be a really good head coach. Got to get a staff right, which that's a whole nother thing.
He might be a better head coach in his career than a DC. That might have, there's guys like that.
Yeah, and I think there's some truth to that. But here's what I will give you about AG. I do believe this year is make or break. I also do believe, and I will give credit to AG for this. If you're a good DC or you're a good OC, any good coordinator, you got to have an identity. That matters. In the fact that his identity he's finally found, which is the run defense, I will give him flowers for that, because that's sure. You have to establish something. You can't give up 100+ yards a game and give up 300 yards passing. It just can't happen. So it's as much as the secondary did struggle, you can't say that about the run defense. They were solid, all year. Even, the championship game, it did get to a point where something's got to give, but it's Christian McCaffrey. All right, I'll give them that. Even before then, they were very, very solid. Kyron Williams, they did a good job for the Rams at home. So, for AG, I do have faith he can figure this out. Obviously, personnel matters. We would agree there. And that's something that we've had the conversation about before is like, what personnel is he working with? Are you going to add a number one corner? Are you going to upgrade your pass rush? Well, you don't have a number one corner. I mean, Carlton Davis is good, but he's not. I don't think he's a solidified number one corner. But they added DJ Reader too. So you got some more pieces. And like you nailed it, Boone. Like you got young players that are only going to get better, right? Like Jack Campbell, we expect him to take a jump. Brian Branch, I think he is all pro potential. Like there's no reason why this defense, guys, we'll see what they do in the draft, but I'm pretty confident Brad's going to nail it once again. They can't be
guys.
Yeah, they can't be.
Like,
I mean, what scoring defense? What were they at last year? Like 19 or something like that.
Scoring defense, they were the 23rd last year.
23rd. Yeah, sorry, that was yards. Yeah, you're right. 23rd.
Yeah, yards might be 19.
But like, you got to get that closer to top 10.
Yes, you have to move up. You went from 29th to 23rd. You need to go from 23rd almost to the top 10, like to 12, 13, 14. Like you need to get there. Like you need to get in that top 15 to have a chance in the playoffs, and then in the playoffs you need to take another step. It's just to me. I could be wrong, and I don't know where the people in the chat feel on this. I just feel like there's no excuse when it comes to personnel this year. Because like the personnel last year, yeah, you were missing some guys. Everyone has gotten older on this defense now. Guys are going into year 2, year 3, year 4. You have guys who have played in this league. It's no longer like, hey, we're working with rookies. We're working with draft picks. No, you're working with draft picks that have proven to play football. Like Brian Branch can go out there and be an all-pro safety if he wants to. So like it's that point to where you turn around and hey, this defense better be ready to go, and it better be top 15. Like it's not just like because you have the players, but it's this franchise and this team is ready to win a Super Bowl. And if you don't take that, it'd be like Jared Goff not taking the step to being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. It's if you don't take, that's on you at that point. Like we need that as a city and as a team. You need Aaron Glenn to take this defense to a top 10 or it screws all of us up because we don't get a Super Bowl out of it.
I mean, Lucas, he talked about personnel, right? You got a Meek Robertson, you got Carlton Davis, DJ Reader. Is there no, I mean, and I still believe they need another corner, probably another edge, but is it fair to say that like make or break for AG this year? Like you got the personnel, man, go figure it out. Or are we overrating some of the personnel? Where are you at with that?
I feel like my Wi-Fi is about to cut out real quick, but just in case it does not. No, I think AG, I think it's going to be, as long as there's improvement and situationally in big games, his defense does what it needs to do. And I'm not saying you guys are caught up on it, but I'm not going to be looking at where do they rank in scoring defense? Where do they rank in total defense? Like, I really don't care. As long as when a play needs to be made, his defense is making plays. That's all I care about. Just do your job consistently. And if he's able to do that, because in big moments last year, you'd see the quarterback scramble outside the pocket. You'd see a wide receiver manned up, and then you get cooked. And you're like, well, why are they not running zone? Well, if you watch what happens when they run zone, they don't get any pressure on the quarterback, and then just get picked apart. So they got to run man coverage. So when you see Cam Sutton on Justin Jefferson on 3rd, 4th down just getting cooked, I don't expect to see that this year. So as long as those things change schematically and they improve, I really don't see a reason. Listen, we talk about everybody with the coaches and especially the coordinators and the players where it's like, look, they weren't set up to succeed in Detroit. If anybody was set up to fail in Detroit, it was Aaron Glenn. Having Aubrey Pleasant as a defensive coordinator coach, he didn't have some guy in the defense like a Jared Goff. He got Aiden Hutchinson, but what can Aiden Hutchinson do when he has no help? We see Aiden Hutchinson in year 2 struggling to get to the quarterback. It's not Aiden's fault. On a consistent basis, he's struggling. So it's just like Aaron Glenn, he's got to get some of that too, because you can see in like when you go into these games, when you go and you play the Dallas Cowboys, you're like, this defense is about to get smoked. And in the secondary, they do, but in the run game, it's shut down. So it's like, all right, he's at least manning up and doing one thing right. He's doing what he can control. He can't control what Vildor is doing. He can't go on the field and control what Sutton's doing, but he's putting that defense in a position to succeed the most. And that's where I think it's like Aaron Glenn, if he goes out and they regress, then okay, questions can be raised. But they improve. He's doing his job. I'm there.
I get what you're saying, Lucas, but I still think like this year, like none of that in the past, none of the stuff in the past matters because like you have a defense. You've been with these guys now for 3 years. These are guys that have gone up in your own system here. Like it's you do need to take that step now. Like the defense has to take that step, and you have the guys to do it now. It's like it's different than last year. Like I get last year, you had Kendall Vildor, Khalil Dor. Like, you have guys out there that shouldn't be. Now this year, like, we're expecting Amik Robertson to be like, he's supposed to be like, he needs to take a step in his career. Like, we're expecting that. We have Carlton Davis now. You're hopefully going to draft someone, maybe sign someone. The defensive line's supposed to be boosted up now. That you have linebackers who have been in the league. You have one of the best safety cores in the NFC. Like, there's no excuse anymore. And I get that, to your point. Like, if anyone deserves hey, let's lay off him a little bit, it was Aaron Glenn the first 2 years. But guess what? It's year 4 now. You have players. You've been in this. You have draft picks who are now vets. Like, now it's like you have draft picks that you came in year 1 and year 2 with. They're vets now. They're in year 3, year 4. Now it's time. Okay, he's starting to build up your defense now. What are we going to do with them? Now you have dudes. What are we going to do with them? That's where it's like, yeah, you don't want to regress. Like, if you regress, then that's a big problem. But if you don't take a step forward, like, that's what you want to do every year, especially with how bad this defense is. You want to take a step forward, and especially as some people say, it's a Super Bowl or bust year, right? Like, that's what people are saying. It's you have the windows closing. If that's the case, hey, we need a defense. Like, you need to put someone on the field. Like, we can't fall short this year because of the defense. That's inexcusable because you did that last year. Like you said, you had Cam Sutton one-on-one with Justin. We can't have him one-on-one versus CeeDee Lamb. Like, we can't have that this year. Like, you have to, like, that step has to go from here to here. Like, the path has to move forward. No pun intended with the path, but the path has to move forward. Like, you have to take that step. And if you don't, very disappointed. Like, because that's the big need in what you need out of this football team is them to go out there and become a top 15 defense.
You know what's funny here. I was texting with Adam. It's more not funny, but it's just kind of wild. I was texting with Adam about a week ago, and we were talking about just past Super Bowl winners and like where the teams that won Super Bowls ranked in sacks.
Yeah.
Pretty much every team that wins a Super Bowl, like, I'm just saying wins. I mean, you could probably look and say who made it. Usually they're in the top 10 in sacks, like top 5. Most of the time it's like top 5, but like you find an exception here, maybe like 9th or whatever. But like if you want this defense to get the job done, like just making a Super Bowl run, you got to get pressure. Like I want top 5s. I'm going to be a little aggressive, but they got to be top 10 in sacks, man. They got to be. And I want to look up real quick. I want to see who was top 10 last year in sacks because
they're not going to be that. Well, they could, especially Reader, but I don't know about top 10.
I do think there's,
and that's why
sacks and turnovers. It's those two are like, that's what wins football games.
I mean, even last year you had Baltimore number 1 in sacks, 60. Obviously, I mean, they had a big year. Kansas City was second. You had the Dolphins at 3, which, that was other things. And, it wasn't all of the defense there. It broke down there. But you had the Bills up there, the Browns up there, Jets were up there, no quarterback. But, like, the Niners were up there, too. I mean, they were, like, I think they were top 10. So both Super Bowl teams were top 10. So, like, not that it's everything, but, hey, you got to be somewhere in that. I mean, the Colts last year had 51 sacks. They were top 5. So, I don't know. Hey, I don't know. You're going to have Aleem get 8, 9. DJ get maybe a couple sprinkle in there. Davenport, big year, get about 8, 9. James Houston, 8, 9. Then you got... they got 8 Hutchinson, 15. Yeah, you could. I'm just saying this. They got. I don't know how many sacks they had. I don't know how many sacks they had last year. They had 41. So if they had 10 more sacks, that's why like 5. So like maybe it's Davenport.
That's Houston. Why like this year, especially like but the pieces that they added, especially the DJ Readers, the Carlton Davis, these are going to be impact guys week 1 that are coming here. So they got to learn the scheme a little bit. The defense the teams that they're going to be playing offensively compared to last year is going to be more difficult. The division just got a whole lot tougher. So when we look at these statistics, it's like you name off those defenses. I still think those defenses are more talented than the Lions. I think the Lions have a talented defense, but those teams are still more talented. So that's why it's just like, I'm not going to be looking at these numbers. I'm going to be looking at how this team needs to play defensively when it matters the most. And if they can just do their job, I think this offense, with how it's built, especially through the run game, it offsets that because they can run the ball on anyone in the league, and they showed that last year, and I don't think that's going to stop. So just make the play situationally so the offense can just keep controlling the clock. That's what the defense needs to do this year. Obviously, turnovers, the strength of this team is going to come through the secondary, I think, this year. I do. I think that's where they have the most talent in the middle of the field.
Do you believe that bend don't break approach can bite them in the ass if that's their approach this year?
See, that's where Lucas. That's where I'm kind of on the opposite of like.
I mean, I still think it's.
What's up, Lucas? You finish what you're saying.
You there? Am I lagging? I can't tell.
Well, yeah, visually, but we can hear your audio.
Hold on. I'm lagging real quick. I'm gonna leave and then I'll join right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go off what I was saying there. I kind of disagree though. I do disagree a little bit with Lucas on that. I think you have to, like, that stuff matters, like sacks, turnovers, like that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's like like you said, you and Adam looked at it. I was looking at, if you guys do you remember when we did pregame shows? What was my number one key in almost every game, or number one and number two?
Yeah,
it was
turnovers, man.
Win the turnover battle and get to the quarterback. I would give out 5+ sacks every game because it's just like that's how you win football games. And yeah, we can like rely on having a top 5 defense, having a top defense to go score the ball, run the ball. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, like you saw in San Fran, it's you can't get a stop. You can't get us to the quarterback. You can't get a turnover. They could come back from 17 points just when you stall out. And that could happen in the wild card. That could happen in the second round. That could happen in the Super Bowl. Like, if you want to win a Super Bowl, like, I don't know, just to me, those things really do matter. Like turnover differential, sacks. Like, if you get a sack on a third down or a second down and put them in third and long, that's smart. Like, there's just things like that. It's like that. Those are big time plays. And I think that's where, like, we don't have to rely on this offense as much. Like, take the pressure, like as much as like we're like, oh, it's so cool we have a top 5 offense. Take the pressure off Ben Johnson and Jared Goff in that offense a little bit, just a little. Like in Baltimore, that Baltimore game's a little different, and we've got blown out. I'm sure if defense gets a couple stops, even if the offense is struggling, defense gets some stops, you're still in this football game. You don't have to rely just on the offense when they have a down day.
Yeah, and I just looked up quickly to kind of match what you were saying here with just turnover differential. And the 49ers, the Chiefs weren't in one of the top teams in turnover differential, but they're like an exception though. Like Patrick Mahomes, dude.
They can rely on Patrick.
Yeah, and they can get after the quarterback. But like the 49ers, to your point, Boone, they were tied for 3rd in turnover differential plus 10. So there you go. That's with Brock Purdy. So
the Ravens plus 12.
You
know, the Cowboys plus 10, the Texans who made the playoffs plus 10.
So that matters. Turnovers getting to the quarterback, man. Like I forgot. I saw a comment here real quick. I think it's perfect. Lucas joined on this one. We forgot to count Matthew Betts. That's my mistake. He could contribute easily. About another. Give him a 5 to 10 for Matthew Betts easily.
Forget about Matthew Betts.
Yeah, I mean they had 41. I mean they have 40-ish last year sacks. If you can bump that up 10, you're already in the top 5. I know it's different. It's different every year, but that they have. I mean, because here's the thing with the bend don't break approach. Okay, that works until you face one of the best red zone defenses, and they just don't punch you in the mouth. That's just what that is. Like the 49ers did in the second half. That's the only issue.
Well, I think if you play good situational football, you stay out of that bend don't break. Like on the 3rd and 4s and the 3rd and 5s, if you stop that offense, that's good situational defense. So now they're punting the ball on 4th and 5 instead of on 3rd and 5. They get a 20-yard first down. Now the chains are moving and they're set up inside the red zone. You stop that bleeding from even happening 2 plays before. But that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something, maybe down the road it will. But then if you're playing a good offense like this team's about to be, that's going to influence it. So just good third down defense. That's all they need to do.
Let me ask you this then, because to that, like, stop the bleeding, get the stops on the 3rd and 4th, 3rd and 5. Those, would you rather be in those 3rd and 4th, 3rd and 5 situations all the time, or be like, hey, we need to get more sacks and put them in 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15 situations instead? Because, like, to me, it's like those 3rd and 4th, 3rd and 5. It's like we can adapt and be like, let's just, like, the bend don't break. Let's keep rolling with that. Let's, like, we have that mentality. But it's like you're going to give up
Yeah,
third and fours. And like the 49ers game, you had the third and fours, the third and fives, and guess what? Just didn't get those stops. But if you get a couple sacks and put Brock Purdy back
that's
in
what I'm saying.
positions
Like,
where
you
that's where I
stop
think
those.
you need to make that change.
Well, I just think I'm saying like 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5 because that's the most common situation in football. Because think about it, if you're in that, you gave up 5 yards on the plays before that. On 1st and 2nd down, you gave up 5 yards. You know what I mean? So that's just the most common situation in football. And in the third quarters, in the fourth quarters, that's when situationally you get those stops, those stop drives, those stop points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why when people bring up like the Lions beat the 49ers, let's just say they make the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. I think the Chiefs would have punished that defense too, to be honest. Like, in my opinion, just with what they were, that game would have been different.
What noises was that?
I'm just saying would have been a little different, Boone. I'm just saying a little different because I just don't think that defense was like it's like a little shed that was like built on like little just a couple pieces of wood. It wasn't a lot there. Like it was just barely holding up, and then the 49ers in the second half were just like boom, knocked it down. Like if they wouldn't have done it.
Dude, it was like that towards the end of the year. It's like that's why you were giving up. Like Mullins or whatever the dude's name is from Minnesota threw for 600 yards on you because it was, hey, bend don't break. We're going to win this football game when the bend don't break. But guess what? When you play a real football team like the 49ers, there's going to be a break. The dam will break and you're going to be in trouble. And that's where, yes. And that's where it's like, oh no, here we go, boys. And that was where I think that change needs to like, the you know what I mean? Like we need to get back to that. And I think AG could do it. I love AG. I think he can be a great DC and he's going to do a good job and he's going to figure this out. Again, he needed the personnel and he needed to figure out what he was doing. Like that was the situation last year is he didn't have the personnel. So he said, guess what? We're going to do bend, don't break and win football games off that. And it worked. And you had a good enough offense to do it, but you can't rely on your offense. Like maybe you can go win a Super Bowl with this offense. Do you want to rely on that, Jeff? Like, do you want to like bank on that every game, having a top 5 offense and put that pressure on Jared Goff? I mean, it takes one injury and then you're done, or it takes this or
a turnover. Like, if a turnover happens, you just got to have faith that your defense will get it back. You know, like remember Mahomes threw that. It was a bad pick in the Super Bowl. Like the defense, like we'll get it back. Like,
you have to have trust in that. I feel like you have to have trust. Like, hey, don't worry, dude, we got you. But like there was so much pressure in big games where it was like, no, offense, you need to go score like the Seahawks games the last couple of years. There's like 100 points combined in the full game. And it's your defense isn't getting stops, but your offense is going into a battle. It's like that's why we haven't been able to beat the Seahawks.
I mean, Eduardo O'Neill says the Lions D did enough for San Francisco to win the game. The offense didn't finish the job, but the D also didn't let them down. Yeah, it was a mixture of both. I mean, the drops didn't help, obviously. It wasn't all the defense, but my point is you get to Brock Purdy a couple more times in the second half. The whole game is different. So sacks,
you know what?
matter.
It's your offense didn't come up big in the second half. You leaned on your offense for 20 games this year, 21 games this year. So eventually it was going to happen. Eventually you needed your defense to say, let's get this stop. And that didn't happen. Like how many possessions straight did they score on in the second half?
Oh, it was damn near every possession.
So
but then here's the thing, Boone. Jahmyr Gibbs turned it over. You're screwed because
exactly, and that's the thing. It's like your offense is going to make mistakes. Now you're sitting there and you just had your offense has to be like, dude. It's just you want to win a Super Bowl, it needs to be a balanced team, man.
Like even Steve, he says, has the defense really improved that much? Like that's what we'll find out. I mean, they improved, but like I'm curious. Top 10 scoring, they got to get there. But I want to bring this up as we kind of get Lukas back in the mix here. But he tweeted this out, which I thought was interesting. He said, which 2023 first round pick do you expect to take the biggest jump statistically in 2024 for the Detroit Lions? Which, you know what? This one made me think a little bit. All right. Which first round pick will take the biggest jump statistically next season? Jahmyr Gibbs or Jack Campbell? I will say right now, based on this is why it kind of relates to what we're talking about here. If this defense, you want it to take a significant jump, Jack Campbell has to make the biggest jump statistically. He has to justify because Jahmyr shares a backfield. So I'm looking for him to give me kind of what he gave me last year. I'll be fine with that.
Yep.
But like Jack, if he takes a jump, what it can mean for this defense, a linebacker like him, sideline to sideline. If he can become one of the best or a star in this league or a rising star. Maybe that's a lot to ask of him, but he is a first round pick. But Jack Campbell better take the biggest jump next year, statistically. And not just take a biggest jump, but really cement himself as one of the best young linebackers in the league. If he does that, this defense changes. It changes completely. So I'll go with Jack Campbell. I think he's going to make the biggest jump, and he has to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Lucas is on this, but I think I don't know if we're going to be like a majority here, all three of us. But I'm with you on that. The Jack Campbell. I just like Jahmyr Gibbs. We know what he is. He's going to make a jump. Is it going to be like a significant one? Probably not anything crazy. Like, he's going to have a big year. Like I said, he could be in the offensive player of the year, and I think he makes that jump. But I do think Jack Campbell, he was second on the team in tackles with like 95 or something like that. And I think Anzo had like 128 total. I think next year Jack Campbell leads the team in tackles. I think he would have been close this year if he would have played in more snaps. Like if you go look at their snap difference, it's a big difference. Anzo was in a lot more than Jack Campbell. I think this year Jack's going to get a lot more snaps, and I think he's going to have more. He's going to lead the team in tackles. People are going to start looking at him in the NFC. Like there's going to be a chance. I think Jack Campbell is a Pro Bowler next year at the linebacker position. I think he's going to have a big. I expect him to. I expect Jack Campbell to, with what he can do. I expect it.
I think both of these players are going to make significant improvements. I think both of these players are going to take that next step that everybody wants them to. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs takes. We talk about Jack Campbell taking a Pro Bowl step and him having kind of that linebacker core himself. But it's like, no, he's got Alex Anzalone there, even Derek Barnes, even Malcolm Rodriguez. Because I know Jahmyr shares it with David Montgomery, but Jahmyr is a guy that I think could be a top 10 player in this league next year. Just with as far as an offensive weapon, I should say. As far as wide receivers, tight ends, running back, I absolutely think he can be. I think Jahmyr Gibbs can be a top 5 running back in the league next year, even with David Montgomery being there getting 700-800 yards. I think he is a running back that could easily get between 1,300 to 1,400 yards on the ground and tack 200-300 through the air. So again, I think Jack Campbell needs to the most. Like I agree with you boys there, but I just think Jahmyr Gibbs is too damn good of a football player behind this offensive line and a run-first scheme that I think it's impossible for him not to take a ginormous step next year. I just think he does. I think he takes an all-pro step.
Hey, you guys have been pumping up Jahmyr. I don't know.
Luke have a big year.
Yeah, I don't know. Not that he won't have a big year. I mean, I think he'll be, he was a stud, obviously his rookie year, but I think he'll just kind of build on that. Like, what are you guys expecting? What's like a significant jump to you? Give me like a stat line. What do you think?
1,400 yards on the ground. I think he's going to have 1,700 to 1,800 total yards. I think so. He does, and somebody just said it in the chat. Let me see. They said he needs to catch the ball better because there was times when Jahmyr, Jahmyr,
he got better towards the end of the year though.
He was a weapon, but there was times where like tink, look like Brandon Pettigrew, Eric Ebron. Like what are we doing here? Like,
Lucas, to be fair with that,
early on,
that was at the beginning of the year, and as the year went on, he started catching. I'm with Lucas. I think Jahmyr does take that's why this is such a tough question because I think Jahmyr is going to be in the
you guys have been high on him.
I think he's a top 5 running back in the NFL. Like now, like when you look at skill set and what he can do, like I think you could argue like what he does on the field. If he didn't have David Montgomery with him, he would be a top 5 statistically wise. Dude, he had 1,300 plus yards and like 10 plus or 11 or maybe I think he might have like 13 touchdowns counting the playoffs. Like that's a guy with David Montgomery who also had 1,000 plus yards and 11 touchdowns or whatever it was. So if you just look at the skill and what he does, Jahmyr Gibbs is top 5. He's a top 5 running back. There's every team in the NFL, unless you have Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey, you're like, I want Jahmyr Gibbs on my team. So yeah, I do think he takes a jump. I think it's significant. Like if you look at, how do I explain this? Let me explain this. Booner mind real quick.
Okay.
Booner mind. Jahmyr Gibbs has David Montgomery. Like his ceiling to take a step to me is like shorter than like Jack Campbell with Anzo. Because like Jack Campbell almost had the same amount, like he was like 20 tackles off of Anzalone to lead the team, and he played like 400 less snaps or like 300 less snaps. Like that's insane. Like Jahmyr Gibbs was still getting touches. Like you can only give Jahmyr, like that was the conversation with Jeff that I had, and Jeff was like, dude, Booner, there's only a certain amount of touches you can get. Like there's like a a ceiling of like you can only get him the ball this many times. But Jack Campbell, it's get him 300 more snaps. Do you think Jack Campbell in 300 more snaps catches Anzo with tackles and passes Anzo up for the best linebacker on the team? Easily.
I think Jack Campbell probably goes up like 30 tackles this year. So what did you say he was at? He was around like 90, something
95.
Like that.
He's going to be like over 130
like
this
120.
Year.
But and this sounds like I'm discounting David Montgomery because I'm not at all. But Jahmyr Gibbs was the 12th overall pick for a reason. He was going to go around that range regardless, and he is going to be the focal point of this offense. Alex Anzalone, Jahmyr Gibbs, focal point of this offense. Alex Anzalone, team captain, you can argue the heartbeat of this team because you hear all the players in the league, they're like, Anzo doesn't stop running his fucking mouth, and he just had the best season of his career. So I agree with you, Jack Campbell's going to take that step, but when we talk about Alex Anzalone is the clear linebacker one until proven otherwise. Jahmyr Gibbs, in my opinion, is the RB1 until proven otherwise. And like I said, he's one of those guys where he can take it to the house now. One carry can go 75 yards for this man. Yeah. It's one of those things.
I think we're on the same page when it comes to what he's doing. I just think like taking a step, there's just like it's like if you're taking a step, there's like a wall closer to Jahmyr Gibbs than there is to Jack Campbell because Jack Campbell barely did anything this year.
I just disagree. I think when you have and I'm not saying this to you, Booner.
Like, dude, he's already top 5. How much better can he get?
And but we didn't even. This was his rookie year where the first 7 weeks it was kind of like, why aren't they using Jahmyr Gibbs? Why that first 7 weeks he's going to be the focal point, and we already saw what happened in the playoff. Like this man got better and better each week. You would think they're going to stop giving him the ball?
No. Like,
But like,
that's not what we're saying.
But what I think is you guys, in my opinion, it's my opinion, you guys are giving, this is why I said it's going to sound, you guys are giving David Montgomery a little too much credit for, I think, the carries he's going to get this year. I think he's going to have,
that's me.
I think, yes, he's still going to be that bruiser to set it up, but instead of being, okay, this drive is strictly David, this drive is strictly Jahmyr, it's going to be, okay, this drive's mostly Jahmyr. Here's some David at the goal line. That next drive, mostly Jahmyr. Third, okay, Jahmyr just broke off a big run. Bring in David and right back to Jahmyr. Because I think
we're arguing two different things here, to be honest, dude. I think we're arguing. I think you're arguing who has like the higher ceiling and who's going to be the better player.
No, I'm saying who has like the bigger block in front of him. Like I
just think like Jahmyr already, like everything you pointed out there is true. He already shown he's one of the best in the NFL. Like we know,
but he's talking about statistically too.
Statistically,
right?
He's going to take a jump too. Like they're both going to take a massive jump. I just say like we know Jahmyr now is like he was an All-Pro play. He was at the All-Pro. Or no, he was at the Pro Bowl. He was at the Pro Bowl already. Jack Campbell wasn't even close to being at the Pro Bowl. So like, who could take a bigger step? Like Jack Campbell barely got snaps to start the year. Jahmyr Gibbs was one of the best in the NFL at his position. Who's going to take the bigger step? I think if you say someone going from not Pro Bowl to Pro Bowl is bigger than someone going from Pro Bowl to Pro Bowl. Maybe he goes from Pro Bowl to All. He will be
All Pro though.
Oh, he will be an All Pro. He will be an All Pro. But again, me and you are on the same page where we both think he's like a top 5 dude in the league right now. So like that's why I think I don't know if we're arguing the same.
We're pulling hairs.
Well, no,
yeah, that's where I'm like. I think we're on the same.
I'll pull. Hey,
we're locked in, Klotzy.
No. Because I'll pull some hairs because I just this is where I'm like,
pull that hair out.
What hat am I putting on? Am I putting on a Jeff GM hat or am I going like my opinion based on how the Lions will use them? Jeff GM hat, you boys know how I roll. Mm-hmm. I'm calling Dan Campbell. I'm saying you give that man 250 to 300 carries this year and you make sure you get everything out of him. Now, let me put on Brad Holmes' hat. Save him because use him. Now, I'm not saying save him like 5 carries a game, but like you want to make sure he stays healthy. I believe that if you draft a guy at 12, you should get everything out of him. He is kind of your bell cow in a way. He should be. You draft him that high, just like Bijan. When a couple picks higher, he's the bell cow, right? Like I don't give a shit. Like if you take a guy that high, he should be a weapon. You should give him as many touches as you possibly can. But then I put on my Brad Holmes hat, and I'm like, I don't know, boys. Like 14. Like I like it. I love it. Like I love the optimism. I'm curious. Like I would be. He if he does that, I will admit I was wrong. I think he'll pass 1,000. Maybe scrimmage.
Wait. All purpose. I'll go
15, 1,600.
Yeah.
You boys are a little higher than me, though.
I was maybe saying 1,800 was extreme because I'm trying to think. If he gets,
Lucas, you're good.
I'll say
stay with that. Stand up business.
No.
Stand on business.
I think.
Do it.
Listen, Boone. I am Boone. I still am. I said 1,800 yards, and I started thinking about it more. I was like,
no, you're right.
I could be, but I'm trying to just come back to earth for a second. He's going to still. I think he's going to take a bigger jump than Jack Campbell statistically. I think he's going to have around 1,300 to 1,400 yards on the ground, but then through the air, I don't think he's going to take a significant jump. So I think he'll probably have like 200-300 yards. So I'll put him at 1,700. So that's still
he had 1,300 as a rookie. That's not crazy to say he's going to have 1,800.
Over under. Booner, give me an over under, and we'll do it that way. We'll just end, so it's easy, yes or no. Give me a over under number.
15.
Because you're good at that. You said what?
1,550.
I'm over. That was an easy one for me.
Say it, Jeff. I say it.
Jeff, I want you to think about this situation, Jeff.
That's why I didn't want to go too high because
let me break it down for you,
under. I might hit him with a little under. I'm a little under.
1,550, dude. That's only 200 more yards than he already had.
Hey, Jeff, we all just talk about how this defense improved, correct?
Unbelievable.
Correct. Yep.
So this defense improved. What does that mean? Teams are going to be scoring less. I know we went through this exercise a lot, but the teams are going to be scoring less.
Yeah.
So the offense is not going to be needing to throw as much. What are they going to be doing more? Running the ball behind an offensive line that some would argue improved with Kevin Zeitler instead of Jonah Jackson.
With the bruiser, baby, Damon. The bruiser. Come on.
Demont will still get his.
Okay,
but let me ask you this.
I'm listening.
If you have a guy that can take it to the house on every play, you're going to use him. And if he gets more carries because the team is winning more, or at least possession-wise, winning the time of possession more, he's going to take a bigger jump than just naturally if the team stayed the same. So take whatever jump Jameer would get, and then the situational football, that's going to be even more.
I want to throw this out there too, because Truth Teller, shout out 2011, tunes in all the time. Appreciate you a ton. He said 1,700 to 1,800 isn't going to happen. There's too many weapons on this team. This is the thing. I do agree there are weapons on this team. You just lost Josh Reynolds, lost a weapon. I really don't care, and I'm at this point with it. I don't really care how many weapons you have on this football team. Who's your best weapon? Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is not only just the best weapon on your football team, he's one of the best in the entire NFL. If you want to win football games and you want to keep going and you want this offense to be great, you put the ball in the best player's hands, which is Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, get him the ball.
Hit that horn.
Find ways to give him the ball. I don't care how many weapons you have. I don't care who they are. I don't care if you draft another weapon. I don't care. Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the best weapons in the entire NFL. You get him the rock and you find ways to do it. You don't just have that in your team and say, well, we just have other weapons on this team. Like we need to give it. No, like you have a guy that can take the ball 70 yards. You have a guy that can get you a first down every time he touches the ball. Why not give him the ball?
Do you boys believe?
Obviously, Adam, I'm not calling Josh Reynolds a weapon. I'm just saying when I say weapon, I just mean like, he's on the roster and the depth chart. Like I consider like a weapon like anyone that's going to be on the field. I didn't mean that he's an actual crazy. Like a legit like weapon. I just mean so like he was on the football field. He is a target.
Well, and this is where we'll move on a little bit, but me and you guys, we see a little differently because I still believe Demont's going to be a big part of what they want to do. The Thunder and Lightning duo. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think Demont's gonna get 1,000, given he stays healthy for a majority of the year.
He barely got 1,000 this year.
Let's make a handshake, but we'll give it some time. All right, but Demont's not sniffing 1,000 rushing yards this year. No.
Give me an over under, Boone. Give me an over under. Demont.
1,000.5.
We're going straight up. Oh shit! All right,
under.
I was thinking
it's
you were
not
like 955 or something. Maybe
no, 1,000.5.
Can he get?
I'm pretty sure last year he was at like 900 or something. Was his over under? He easily hit it.
I think. How about this? He'll get.
If he stays healthy. No, you have to go over under, dude. That's like the biggest cop out of all time, dude.
So you're saying there'll be 2,000. So you're not saying there'll be 2,000 yard backs. You think Jameer's RB1 1,400, whatever it is, rushing, and then you think Demont gets like 800, whatever.
Similar production, they'll still probably have 2,000 yards rushing around there, but the pie will be sliced.
It'll be okay.
I'll say this too: if D-Mont plays in all 17 games, he will hit 1,000. But I don't
think
see
so.
that.
What is that? What is that? Let me see.
So.
It's like 60 something yards a game, I think.
Yeah, it's about 60 yards a game. I mean, he gets 15 carries. Boom, he's hitting that.
60 yards a game. Yeah, so that's not crazy for him. Remember, D-Mont was a guy. I don't know if you guys remember this. Like, when he played in a game and you would bet on him, it was a guarantee for him to get 50 every game. Like, I think every game he played, I think he had 50 yards. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. Let me do that. So, like, yeah, if he plays in every game, he's gonna hit 1,000. That's just like the numbers just work out that way.
And people comparing him to Kamara, you got to get that type of stat line, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get that 700 receiving yards.
There's no way Jahmyr Gibbs gets 700 receiving yards. I like the total yardage there because it's pretty spot on with what I'm saying, a little under, but Jahmyr Gibbs will not sniff 700 receiving yards. No way, no how.
What's his ceiling as like a receiving back? What do you think yards?
I think, you know what? And I'm going to say this. I think it's more likely if, like, say they get a receiver, like they don't go receiver in the first 2 rounds and they just get another player. And with Josh Reynolds out, I think you're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs lining up out more. You're going to see him moving around, and they're going to actually try and get him the ball through the air more. Like, that's going to be an actual thing. They did that towards the end of the year. It felt like they found ways to get him the rock.
He is a weapon.
The 700, Lucas, like, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but like I get like maybe not, but like he had almost maybe 400 receiving yards. I could pull it up. He had 316 and he hits 52 catches in 15 games. So I would only think that goes up
500, like ceiling 500, maybe a little bit more than that. But I just think people are discounting the runner that Jahmyr, like 900 rushing yards for Jahmyr is crazy. Like, I don't think people understand how good of a running back this man is. I understand he's a little undersized, but you watch how he runs. He's a physical runner that is always falling forward. Sometimes he gets himself in trouble, which a lot of rookie running backs do behind the line of scrimmage, trying to make a play when it's not there. But if you just watch the vision, the one step that this man had, he's clearing 1,000 yards if he stays healthy for the rest of his career. He has the talent to do that without a doubt. Like, I get he can catch the ball, and that was a huge thing with him coming out of the draft, but people are forgetting how good of a running back this guy is.
Yeah, it's fair. If you told me right now, yes or no, Gibbs gets 1,000, I have to lean towards yes because of how easy he gets the home run hitters. That's where it's like, he'll be damn near. I mean, he'll be 1,000. If you want to go 13, I think he clears 1,000. Maybe my Montgomery take, maybe give him a little under 1,000. But I think those two, what my point is, the whole point of that was like, I think David will still be in the mix, But
absolutely. Like, he will be, but he'll be one of those players that I think it even shows even more this year. I think it showed a little bit where it's the statistics don't show how important David Montgomery is to this offense. I don't think the statistics will show it.
Yeah, that's fair.
If we're talking statistics, I think because of that, Jahmyr then has a bigger production than people give credit for.
I mean, John Hughes, the rest of his 5-year career, Jeff, that's messed up.
There might be a good chance that we do have 2,000-yard backs. So, like, that's I think it's more likely to happen this year than it did last. Like, it was
David
close last year.
1,000 total.
No, I think he'll get. I think there's a chance 1,000 rush. I think there's a chance. I'm not gonna say no.
Maybe.
Dude, again, to some of these people's points in the chat, he missed 4 games. If he plays in 17 games, he's gonna hit 1,000. Just purely off. Like, they're not gonna not give him the ball, and he's not a scrub, and he's behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So, like, if you play in 17 games, David Montgomery, dude, I think he would have to like get 10 carries a game and get 60 yards. Like, I remember that's actually 6 yards a carry. That's crazy, but like, he's gonna still.
I get what you're saying. Yes.
Well, I mean, we talked about first-round picks taking a jump, boys. Let's talk about the upcoming draft in 2 weeks today. Isn't that crazy? It's coming up. And by the way, I'm going to let you guys know, for those who are tuning in, we will be live for the draft. If you can't make it, tune in. We'll have a live show. But please, if you're going downtown, you're looking for a place to go, the obvious decision, it's like a no-brainer, would be to come party with us at Bookie's Bar and Grill. We'll be doing it with questionable teas, VIP special guests, including former Lions players, former Red Wings players. You get free drinks, free appetizers all night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll be doing a live show from 6 p.m. to midnight. There'll be raffle winners. It's a 90s and Varsity Blues theme, so please dress up if you would like. There's money that is involved for the best outfit. You win some cash as well. And with the purchase of a ticket, it includes free draft tee, nice tee by the way. It's nice. A raffle entry to win signed Lions gear and other goodies. So please get your tickets. It's 2 weeks away.
Go get them.
Yeah,
big time
guests
guests too, by the way.
Yeah, big time guests. We'll have DJ BJ spinning on the ones and twos. He is the DJ for the Detroit Lions, so that's big time, man. Some special, and I'm telling you, I'm not giving away the names for the former players.
Big time
players. Want to miss it? Yeah, you're not going to want to miss it. I'll just say
it's worth the money alone, I think. Honestly,
and it's going to be like, I don't know, but I'm sure you guys feel the exact same way. Like during the draft is like some of the most locked in of football I am during all the year. Like it's one of my favorite days of the year sports wise. And so come out with the fellas, hang out with us. It'll be a good time. We'll get the drinks going. We'll be on the we're on the, what do you call it? Rooftop. So go outside for a little bit, take a quick little 15-minute break, pop back in, feeling good.
It is a memory you will have forever. To be on the rooftop, Bookie's Bar and Grill in Detroit, draft night. The city's just going crazy. You got
looking down at Louis Riddick from above.
You're hanging out with the fellas, former athletes, professional athletes, people hanging out, having a great time. The tunes are going. You're not going to want to miss that. It's worth every single penny. So please,
drink some Kool-Aid with me.
Yeah, have some Kool-Aid with Booner. Have a couple shots with the fellas, and let's react to some picks here because it'll be a fun night. All right, let's get to the 33rd team's mock draft. And you saw the thumbnail. This is wild. Absolutely
I don't know if this
wild.
Is realistic, to be honest.
I would love it. I don't even know what's realistic and what's not anymore. Like Brad Holmes and just the draft in general. I don't even know. I don't know at this point. Like, is there a chance that Latu falls to 29? I don't know.
Chance, dude.
I don't know.
There's no chance this happens, right? Like 0.0%.
The only chance that it happens is like a Montez Sweat situation, which Jeff brought up earlier in the week when it was a heart condition, so he fell. But I look at the teams that are above there, and it's like if Latu falls to the Packers, they're taking him. If Latu falls to the Buccaneers, they're definitely taking him. Todd Bowles is definitely walking away with Latu. And then the
Eagles.
Jonathan Gannon definitely wants the. I don't think this is likely, but I do think, let's say the Lions jump into the top 25. Yes, I think there's a chance that Latu goes there, but I also think there's a chance that if like the Bengals are sitting there at 18 and they're like, well, we just lost DJ Reader. If Byron Murphy's off the board, they're like, we need to get pass rush. We got Trey Hendrickson. We got Sam Hubbard. If we throw in Latu, how are you stopping that? So there's the Steelers, if they want to move off Highsmith in the future. I don't know.
There's just no way he's at. This is so unrealistic. This is so unrealistic. Zero chance he falls to 29.
Let me talk to you for a second, all right?
Dude, you can say anything you want to me. It's not going to happen, brother.
Sit down. Have a seat right over there.
I'm already sitting. You want me to stand up?
Chris Hansen, have a seat. Have a seat right over there. Let me talk to you for a second, Boone. One thing we've learned, Boone, about the draft, especially with guys. Remember, I've seen crazy. I remember watching DK had that neck injury, and he fell to the third.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept watching the draft, third or fourth round, whatever it was. I kept watching. I'm like, oh, he keeps falling. He keeps falling. And he was like, you watched him at Ole Miss with AJ Brown. He was a beast. And I know Latu is a hell of a player, but I've just seen so many things happen with players that have that type of injury that's concerning. Like, would I be surprised? I'm being real, fellas. No, I would not be surprised because teams, you know how teams get neck injury. Oh, he could retire. Oh, I don't want to take him. Even though we all agree, and I know ETN, a resident Rams fan in the chat, he's probably freaking the hell out because he would love the Rams to take him. But boys, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if that's out of pocket, but I wouldn't.
No, so this is the thing, and I'll think about it to this point as well. Every year in the draft, there's 2, 3, 4 guys who are projected to go in the first, projected to go top 10, 15, 20, and they all fall out, whether it's like to the second round. It's like the JPJ stuff. Like we saw Mel Kiper, the Mel Kiper thing, and so he has Jackson Powers Johnson going in the second round. He has Jerzon Newton going in the second round. And this is guys that everyone has in their top 20, basically. So, like, there are going to be guys that drop. You would hope if they do that, there's a reason behind it, I'm sure. Like, there's going to be a reason guys fall. Does that mean Brad's been a guy to draft like injured players and go after guys? Does that mean
Brad's
there? Yeah, does that mean like if a guy like that draft or starts falling and he's like we'll take Brian Branch. Someone put it, Coach Walk. Brian Branch dropping all the way to the second, projected first round pick, and we get him in the second. Like I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe it's not going to be Latu, but there might be a couple guys in this draft that start to fall, and we're all going to be sitting there at the draft like, fellas. Like, and this is if Brad doesn't trade up, just like, fellas.
That guy up north hates Latu, bro. That guy up north hates him. He hates him.
That's my guy.
I love Gabriel Murphy, but his whole thing with Latu is injury, and Gabriel Murphy's thing is he doesn't have as good, even as near as good as tape as Latu. And Gabriel Murphy's thing is he played like 3 games last year, not exactly, but his thing is just absolute injuries as well.
Yeah, Latu, I mean, he was in my mock. My most recent mock. He has the best hands out of all defensive linemen. Filthy. I mean, just a menace, rushing the passer. I mean, the biggest game. I mean, one of the biggest game, most impressive game. Not that it was against a great O-line, but that game against USC. I mean, he wrecked that game. I mean, and you watch Latu at 6'5", 265. Look at the bend. That's like James Houston. What is he, like 6'1", 6'2", James Houston? He's got good bend. He's 6'5", 265, and he's bending like he's 6 foot, 6'1". Like he's a freak. Like he's got a repertoire of pass rush moves. He's got a whole arsenal. Dude,
his upside tangible wise is like Von Miller, TJ Watt, like that's like his ceiling. So it's like that's if you're sitting at 29.
Are we talking intangibles?
We're talking intangibles.
Do you guys want to talk intangibles?
Injury concern, and a player that could potentially be traded up on.
You guys want to talk about intangibles real quick?
Let's talk about him, Boone.
Let's talk about that Michigan quarterback. I'm just kidding.
Well,
we'll wait. There's a conversation.
I can't wait.
We talk about intangibles for certain people, but other people it's stats and not intangibles.
Here's the thing.
It's weird, dude. It's like
Latu to be fair, had the intangibles and the double-digit sacks.
It's just weird. A lot of double standards going around my neighborhood over here.
But boys,
fake news.
I can't wait for the draft. I just want to see a scenario like this. I think Latu would be just a home run selection. I think like you walk out of there and you're like, okay, yeah, neck injury. I get that. But man, like he's so good. If I'm Brad, I'm like, dude, you're getting a guy that I believe would be the first, maybe second, maybe if he was healthy. I think he'd be the first defensive lineman off the board. But like, okay, Dallas, he has a ton of upside. Cool. Okay, cool. Second, you're getting him at 29 because of some question marks. Like, fucking, you write that, dude. You turn that. Yeah, we'll make the phone call. Yeah, we're taking Latu. Like, it should be this quickest selection in the history of selections.
Like looking, like if he were to bust, like if he were to not pan out in the NFL, let's rephrase it into that. I like looking back on it. I wouldn't even be able to blame Brad. Like I wouldn't even be mad.
No.
The dude went for it. He went for it. He went.
He went for it. There's your edge right there. Your bookend. Like I'm all for it. I thought that was a crazy scenario. So yeah, as much as we like at these drafts, like guys, and we've been doing this right for a while now with this, which just like you're so used to the draft, like the mock drafts and all the bullshit. I had Brian Branch, me and Adam remembers this. We had Brian Branch in the first round of every mock going top 15, and then boom, he's in the second round. It's like, who knows? It wasn't an injury, but still, like you never know with some of these players. But it is that time. It's about 9:15. I want to get to JJ because Booner, I know you're
real quick.
Just because of the Steve. Go ahead, Boone. You go first.
I'm just gonna say the Red Wings officially suck.
Give us an update. I don't have
they're down 5-3 in the third period. Like
Jesus Christ,
they're not a playoff team. Even if they somehow make the playoffs, they're just not a playoff team.
Yeah, Gentry just called into work. He just didn't even show up here. So you know what? You got to roast him tomorrow in the chat on that, please. I don't know what he's doing. But
it's unbelievable.
That sucks. You know, great.
I could not believe they're that bad. Like, how can you be like? I thought you're a playoff team. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Let's move on from that.
So Booner, you're not no Booner path with the Red
Wings. Booner path
not.
is not endorsing the Detroit Red Wings this year.
I'll just making sure.
I'm not putting my brand behind that brand of hockey right now.
You see this comment?
That's
Steve
what I was about to bring up. If you guys buy tickets to the draft party, you will instantly have your money back if that happens. I will be hated by the Detroit Lions fan community if that happens because we'll get it clipped up. It'll go live. I will be the most, like, especially if he's good, like, I will make the biggest ass of myself if the Lions were to trade up for Nate Wiggins. I would be so fucking mad. It would, like, it would seem like I would hate Brad Holmes, but I would be livid. I would be livid. I don't even know what I would do. I would go in there with hopes of Xavier Legette at 29, just like save the picks, get a great player, and then you trade up for Nate fucking Wiggins. I'd be furious.
Hey, I will say, I liked Emmanuel Forbes despite the weight. And you know what? I haven't let the weight get too much into it. I try not to factor it too. I do understand Emmanuel Forbes he had an awful beginning and probably till the end of the season. He got benched at one point. But I still showed some things. Still my guy. Nate Wiggins, I wouldn't be as mad as you, Lucas. I wouldn't hate it.
The dude got hurt running a 40-yard dash, Jeff.
But he was flying.
40-yard dash. He was great. I'm not saying the man isn't talented. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this man over the career is never going to play more than 13 games for you in a season. And he's going to struggle tackling. He's going to struggle getting off blocks. He's very handsy, which works for him because he's an athlete. But people talk about Jeff Okudah and being handsy.
I feel like Lucas is setting himself up for something
but he's
so
built
bad,
like
dude.
Lucas.
Or we're going to be set up to look stupid. Either one.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think stupid.
Well,
I
you
don't
guys
think
don't
like we're
love
not.
him. You guys don't love
Yeah,
him.
like we're not putting ourselves. Lucas is putting himself on like one major side where it's like Nate Wiggins end up in like the next 4 years being like an all-pro safe or corner, like one of the best in the league. Like Lucas is gonna be like, oh well, boys, how about that one?
Take
like,
his ass to Coney Island. Get him some conies. You know, to get him a tour of the city. You know, take him to a nice steakhouse. We'll put about 15 pounds on him. Lucas, you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's what I'll look up and because I already saw the graphic, but they put out a graphic of all the corners that were drafted, that have already played, that have already retired, that were drafted at Nate Wiggins' weight. Not one of them were even a Pro Bowler.
That's
not one even made a Pro Bowl.
God. Wow.
There's this thing called genetics that matter.
That doesn't fit my narrative, so I don't really like it. But yeah, we'll move on here. Speaking of certain players, whether they'll work out or not, J.J. McCarthy. I want to show, and this isn't like, I know we've talked a lot about J.J., but this is something different. It's more reacting to graphics, which I do think this provides a lot of context. I can appreciate a well-researched graphic. I can appreciate a well-researched, well-edited graphic. Okay, I can. I know sometimes, we look at it and you can really, this is also true. I will say this. You can pretty much spin any type of data to fit your narrative, Boone. I will give you that. That is true. You could spin a lot of bullshit to fit your narrative. All right. That's just how this works. We're in this business. But take a look at some of it. We'll start with the first graphic here. It's like a warm-up, like we'll get to this and then we'll get to the other one. This is something that Justin Spiro put out. He's a Spartan alum. He put this out. I'm letting Booner kind of.
I want you to preface that. Say that one more time. Say it one more time.
All right. He's a Spartan
alum. Say it one more time.
Again.
Where did he go to school?
Michigan State. Okay. Michigan State. I don't think that has anything to do with this graphic, but check it out. Well, here's the graphic. Okay. This is okay.
Jake Coker, baby. Coker.
Yeah, let me just take this is wild. Okay, let's see this graphic. Okay,
this is cherry picking of stats. I don't know.
The graphic is winning old school. J.J. McCarthy is the only title-winning quarterback not to throw a touchdown pass or reach 150 yards passing in the CFP era. So you have JJ here. For people that are listening, I'm just going to read off some of it. J.J. McCarthy, 10 of 18, 140 yards, 0 TDs. And then you got your Stenson Bennett's of the world, right? They won a title, 18 for 25, 300 yards, 4 TDs. Mac Jones, 36 of 45, 464, 5 TDs. Joe Burrow, 31 of 49, 463 yards, 5 TDs. Lawrence, 20 of 32. I mean, and they got Tua, Deshaun Watson, Jake Coker, Cardell Jones, and this is a little disrespectful. They put in the little asterisk third string quarterback. That's even more disrespectful. But it's a graphic about just quarterbacks, how they played, to again what their statistics were winning a Natty, and then you see JJ, which is like the outlier completely. But Boone, you didn't like this. You didn't appreciate it. It doesn't fit the narrative you like. I need you to kind of give your thoughts on just this
graphic up again.
I'll throw it up again. Here you go, Boone. What are you thinking?
I'm interested. I'm intrigued to hear this.
I'm just all right. This is where I'm going to go with it. Like, yeah, in the national championship game, 104, whatever. Like, we can go with that. What did he do versus Alabama? Do you guys want to answer that question for me?
He had a couple TDs.
What did it? What? I'm not. I'm like asking, but what did he do? Because I don't remember.
Here, let me get the exact number here for you. 217 for 27, 221, 3 touchdowns, 168 quarterback rating, passer rating. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what. Like, we could pick and cherry pick these stats and add these different narratives and all we want. And it comes back to, what can the quarterback do? Does he have an arm? Does he have the intangibles of what he can do? Right? Like, what's the thing that you guys came at me about the other day with JJ? Oh, well, he can't do, like, he's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has an arm. This guy, Josh Allen, has an arm. He has the ground game. He has this and that. Guess what JJ has? And he's in a different offense. He has the arm. And you can't look me dead in my eyes and lie to me and say, no, he doesn't have the arm. No, because he does have the arm talent. He has the arm talent. Okay, let's move to the next part. Can he run the ball? Does he have the ground game like a Josh Allen, like one of those guys? I don't know. Look me dead in my eyes and tell me he doesn't have that. No, he does. All right, let's go to the next part here. Does he win football games? Is he a winner? Is he a leader? I don't know. Maybe he just won a national championship, back-to-back Big Ten championships. And he, what did he do? Go to college football playoffs twice. I don't know. There's just like all these different things to where when there's other quarterbacks that do these things, like Stetson Bennett, oh, cool, he had great games. What is he doing? Do the numbers really mean that much? What about Jake Coker? What is he doing in the NFL? Do the numbers really mean that much? Cardell Jones or whatever.
Hey,
like, do the numbers really mean that
he
much in the NFL?
Backup for the San Diego Chargers.
No, listen. How about that? How about we look at it at the opposite side? These guys put these numbers up. How good did they do in the NFL because they put those numbers up in those games? Numbers aren't everything. What can he do? Does he have an elite arm? Yes. Does he have the ground game? Yes. Does he know how to win football games? Yes. Is he a leader? Yes. Checks every box, right? Does he check those boxes, guys?
Yes, he does.
He checks those boxes. Yep.
Okay. And what do you want out of all your quarterbacks? Elite arm. Ground game, can lead a football team, can win football games, knows what he's doing in the quarterback room, and can draw plays up and do all. Can he do all of that, fellas?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
If you,
so you put him in an offense. The only downside, okay, in this too, he has an elite arm. Let's not act like his like that. Like, what are we doing here? Now that's right there. Prime example of a Michigan State fan that doesn't want to admit things. Let's take the bias out of it.
Okay, well,
guess what, Jesse Adams? Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback in the NFL. I'll be non-biased and say it. He's a great quarterback in the NFL. Let's move on from the bias now. Let's talk football.
Booner, at least with like me, like, and I know we've had this discussion. It's not. I think where people, and I'll give pushback. I do think he has elite arm strength. Okay, I'll give you that. And the thing is why I think JJ has the intangibles with all the ceiling that you're talking about. I agree with you for a lot of those things. But the difference is, obviously, he's not a Jake Coker. He's not a Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett was drafted in like the 7th round, 5th round, whatever it was. I'm not saying he's those guys. But when you start looking at the other quarterbacks, their arm was much more developed and polished. They could put touch on the ball, and they were playing an NFL-ready offense. So the transition for them would be easier. Does JJ have the intangibles? Yes. But the thing is, does he have the ability to develop in a bad situation when he's never been surrounded by one? And that's my pushback. That I think that graphic was a little skewed to make him look bad. I agree with you there. But at the end of the day, that's also a reality of the situation, that he wasn't asked in the biggest game of his career to throw the ball. Now he's going to be asked every week in a bad situation outside of Minnesota, which he's still going to have to throw the ball consistently. So that's where the questions come in with the development, because the other quarterbacks that were drafted there, they already have been doing that at the college level. He didn't even do it at the college level.
This is where
he did a little bit, but not.
This is where we'll agree. And if you come at me with this argument about JJ, and it's the same thing, like if you want to come at me with this, like I totally agree, is that he was in an offense that didn't ask a lot out of him to show off his talent. That's a fact. They were a run first offense. And I think we all agree on that. And to your point, Lucas, he hasn't been able to develop like a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams and those players that are in those positions because he just wasn't in that offense. Like that's a fact. Now, can that be the reason why he doesn't become successful in the NFL is because he hasn't been able to experience that yet? He hasn't had that development yet? Very well so. Like, that is an issue. Like, if you draft him and you bring him in, you're going to have to know that that's part of it as well. Does he have everything to come with it? Yes. Like, he has all the upside in the world. But does he need the reps? Yes, he needs reps. We were at the combine and saw himself missing throws because you could just tell, like, those aren't throws that he should be missing. It's because the reps. Like, that's not what do you guys see where I'm coming from with that? Like,
yeah, that's my whole pushback.
The reps. But I think if you take that out of it, if he was at an LSU for the last 2 or 3 years, I think it's the same thing with like the Quinyon Mitchell argument that we talk about all the time. Quinyon's in Alabama. He's being talked about as a top 10 corner, not sitting there with Terrion Arnold. Like it's a little different argument. So like that's where I think there's that. I think that's and this dude like the Jesse. I'm like, dude, Jesse. Get on. Listen, buddy. Take the bias away and let's talk some football. Whenever you're ready to talk football, winning football, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I'm not just a JJ guy. I love JD Daniels in this draft. I have guys I like in this draft. Obviously, your comments are anti-Michigan. Let's not even think about Michigan.
And Booner, I get what you're saying as far as if they went to different situations, because I agree with you. If he would have went to LSU and have Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and then playing in that style offense, he obviously would have. But that doesn't take away that didn't happen. Same thing with Quinyon, where it's like, okay, he missed a developmental stage. Those guys that didn't miss it automatically, in my opinion, if they're same intangible wise, automatically have an edge. Jaden Daniels saw, okay, I'm not doing shit here at Arizona State. Went to LSU, boost his stock up right now, and that's just the fact of the matter of it. So that's why it's like, okay, and when I say JJ should be a second-round pick, it's not disrespectful saying he's not good, but if you're taking a quarterback that needs to develop, the Bo Nix, the Michael Penix of the world put up way better stats, I still take JJ in front of him, but I still think all those guys fall in the second-round quarterbacks by default, but we're in the age in the NFL where quarterbacks have 2 years to develop, and that's Jared was talking about on the podcast. Yeah. And that's why, like, if JJ doesn't develop in his first 2 years, which I think he's naturally just going to need.
I'm so tired, though. No, listen, Jeff, and I want you to be honest with me. These graphics that get made, like the next graphic I can agree with because it has Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, but the other ones with all these guys, the point of the graphic, Adam, is you're trying to say JJ put bad stats up, he's going to be trash. Like there's guys on that graphic that put numbers up and are great in the NFL, and there's guys in that graphic who put numbers up and were trash in the NFL. Your graphic, I'll listen a little bit more to because these are two guys who are good in the NFL. But the other one, when there's guys who didn't even play barely in the NFL.
Well, here's another graphic.
I will go with this one.
So this is notable. Shout out to Adam, man. He crushed this. This is comparing champions, notable college football playoff performances. You got Joe Burrow, 60 of 88.
Caller from the D to just to call in and talk. Jeez.
60 of 88.
Put words in his mouth. I don't know what you're saying. You're commenting, dude.
Yeah,
I don't
caller from the D.
This could be gold content.
Well, the thing is, it's like we probably will end up agreeing to a point too. It's just he's in the chat, and I just don't we can't understand what he's trying to say.
Well, you see this, right? JJ 27 to 45, 361, 3 TDs, 0 picks, and then you got Trevor Lawrence, 47 to 71, 674 passing yards, 6 TDs, 0 picks. So JJ, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, all in this graphic, comparing champions, it's called. It's just, yeah, that's okay, Boone. Do you, this is where it's tough because if people want to say, if you want to bring up the, well, he won, you're not basing, I know you, Boone, you're not basing it all on just because he won a natty. You're basing it off the skill set. Like
I don't even care about wins or anything. I'm just looking at like the
potential, right? The arm, the mobility, the leadership, the IQ. And I would honestly, even though you're higher on JJ than I am, I think it's fine if he goes. Even though I wouldn't draft him top 5, I get why people would because of the draft's on mostly potential, right? Like what you believe a player can become. So if they think JJ with his skill set, former 5-star quarterback, he can become one of those guys, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, whoever, then yeah, take a swing. I wouldn't do it, but hey, like if you're Minnesota, and Adam asked me this, and I thought this was a good question. I want to ask you, Boone. I'm curious what you think. And Lucas, you could even give your answer. If you're Minnesota, are you willing to give up a lot of draft capital, a lot, future first, couple early round picks, to trade up to 5 to take him? Do you think he's worth that type of
so
is really the question.
So I just saw Adam put that in the chat, and I think this is where I'm like, I think me and Adam, and this happens to me all the time with like you, Jeff, and with Adam, is we all have very, very good points, and we end up being on the same page. Because top 5, maybe not, but like a team like Minnesota who's sitting there to be like, hey, we need a franchise guy. And the only reason, and I made this point too, and Jeff, you can back me on this. I made this point a while ago, that I said JJ can go top 10. The only reason he would go top 5 is because there are teams. Oh, wait, who scored? The Wings?
Yeah, the Wings it's 5 minutes left.
There we go.
Period. They're down 1 goal.
Let's go. Lucas Raymond again. How many goals does he have?
He's carrying the team.
That's what I'm hearing. So this is the thing though with this real quick, and before we get into that, and I want to finish this with Adam real quick. It's, what did I say before? I said I think he goes top 10. The only way he goes top 5 if there are franchises that are sitting there. Jaden's not available, Drake's not available, Caleb's not available, and there's some franchises who are desperate for a quarterback, and then they start getting into a battle to where it's who's going to go get JJ. Because I think it's obvious JJ's the 4th best quarterback in this draft. He has the ceiling, he has the intangibles. Can he do it? You don't know. But if you're sitting there desperate for a franchise guy, right? Like that's what franchises do. And if there's a chance that he hits, yes. There's a chance he doesn't. Yes. It's different. You know what I mean? Like, and I agree with Adam. Maybe he's not a top 5 guy. We know what top 5 guys look like, but it just comes down to like, when you're getting to that battle of you need a you're desperate for a quarterback, and now you're in a battle with the Giants, the Vikings, the Raiders, the Broncos to go get JJ. That's where it comes in. It's like you might have to go get him top 5 because of that. Is it worth it? Probably not, because there's probably what's the word I'm looking for here, fellas? There's probably, because you haven't seen as much, there's probably a bigger chance maybe that he's not like the Josh Allen, then he's going to turn into the Josh Allen. So that's just where I stand on it. I think JJ has a very high ceiling, and I'm sure Adam would agree with that too. Like the ceiling in the right position is very, very high. And that's where I think you draft
Real quick, I'm an idiot. The Wings just tied the game. It's 5-5, 4 minutes left in the third period.
Did you say they took the lead?
No, I said they were down 1, but it didn't update. They're tied 5-5. I don't have the game on because we're doing the show, but Raymond has 4 points.
Dude, he's been killing it, dude.
He's got a Hattie, and
the break has been cold, and he's been dominating.
Yeah, so Red Wings are holding on right now, and so please shout out to the chat for giving us the F. That's
playing for OJ,
oh my
god, and if you guys want to even, and I didn't even notice this, we needed the Caps to lose. We needed to win today, and the Capitals to lose, and the Capitals lost today, 4-2 to Buffalo.
So it's everything on the line.
Yes, like if you win here, you're set up to you're right back in this thing.
And guys, you know what's funny? And I'll just say, I'll say this real quick, and I want to make sure I clear this up. No offense to this specific person, but there's no way I'm letting this slide. ECL, Jeff, weren't you a Malik Willis guy? I could be wrong, but if memory serves me, you were pounding the table for that kid. Fuck no.
Adam would have killed you.
I would, yeah. Well, me and Adam were always in lockstep with that.
Can I address this as well?
We made fun of the people who wanted Malik Willis, but continue, Boone. What's up?
Just this comment. Adam, you tell me to listen to your words. You have to listen to mine. I've made it very clear JJ does not have the film, and he has not been able to prove what these guys have done. Does that mean he's not as good as them? No. He just wasn't in the right he wasn't in the right program to do it.
You're over.
I just look at talent and I go, hey, this guy's pretty talented. This guy's pretty talented. Oh, he's got talent. Like Josh Allen went to Wyoming. He's got there's guys you draft off talent sometimes. That happens.
I mean, Anthony Richardson, they took him based off potential.
He's going to be good.
This is the point. This is the point to where it's like, are we talking about stats? Like he doesn't have the film and the stats. Like, all right, so like, are we just going to always go off stats in the film, or like when is this like? And then when I start talking film and when I start talking stats, then it switches. It's like, let's pick one side or the other. Like it can be both ways, right? Like Josh Allen played at Wyoming. We knew he had the potential and the intangibles, and he became that. Why can't that happen for JJ?
I wouldn't say JJ has Josh Allen potential because it's an example. I know because Josh Allen was hurdling dudes his rookie year. You guys remember that Minnesota Vikings game, the Bills and the Vikings game, where the Bills kicked the Vikings' ass out of nowhere? Either way, forget about that point. But I just think if this was even 2015, like if this was 2015, I think JJ would have more value. But it all just goes back to if you're going to trade up that much revenue to get into the top 5, to take a quarterback that you're given 2-3 years to meet that development point, where I agree with you, Booner, he has a high ceiling, but I don't know if he's ever going to be able to reach that in the modern day NFL just with the development. That's just my whole thing. So that's why I'd be like, all right, if I was a team that needed a quarterback and I'm sitting there, if I'm the Patriots, I would trade back for JJ, but he won't be there because teams are trading up. But I would trade back to 12 for JJ, get more assets, and then I'm hearing you.
Adam just keeps bringing players up that just like have film and stats. It's just like, dude, like,
well, he's talking. His point is basically like, if you're taking a guy that high, I don't think he's coming at you directly, but just that philosophy. If you're taking someone that high, he's mentioning these guys like that are just. You got to have faith. Like, remember, guys, I'll admit, like Lucas, I wasn't talking to you as much about it, Boone, because you were more of a Will Levis guy. I don't know how you felt about Anthony Richardson. I didn't buy it personally. I know Lucas, you were very high on him. I believe, right? I don't know.
It wasn't like Lentz level, but I was like, he was like Josh Allen, where it's like,
yeah,
it's such a risk, but if that risk works out, like you just found Campbell 2.0. That's where the JJ and Anthony Richardson, that's where the disconnect is. The JJ Josh Allen, the disconnect.
Because Anthony Richardson had like 15 TDs his final year. It was like ass. Mm-hmm. But they banked on what he can be, 6'4", cannon arm. I mean, real quick, I do want to shout out to the members. Lion Stroll became a member for 2 months earlier in the show. We appreciate you. Thank you for that, Lion Stroll. You're a real one. Matthew Evans also became a Crunch member for 2 months. He says Joe Milton better than JJ. That's aggressive, Matthew Evans, but we appreciate you there. Boone, Joe Milton, huh?
You saw him at the combine. Right. He was throwing those 70-yarders too, Boone.
No, that's absurd.
I mean, dude, Joe Milton, I'm not going to say it. Joe Milton's just one of those things where it's like, oh, that's a cool arm. Oh, how long will he be in the NFL?
So he's a Jag.
Oh, wait.
What you're saying.
Yeah,
he's a Jag.
Just a
guy.
He's no Devin Leary. He's no Devin Leary.
Yeah, Devin Leary. We fell in love with Devin Leary at the combine. Just very fundamental. Very fundamental.
And by the way, I want to say Adam's graphic, great graphic. I like the graphic.
Oh, dude,
But again, stats aren't everything, but great graphic.
You just simped for Adam, Boone.
He said he's not getting much love. I love Adam.
You simped for him.
Yeah, I simped for Adam. He started my career. What do I have to say? What can I say?
Yeah, and he won't even
Adam Booner Adam.
Won't catch me simping for the headband, I'll tell you that much.
Lucas does not claim this opinion.
The bubble tee.
Lucas's long log says JJ might be Blake Bortles too.
I don't. As much as it would make sounds terrible. It'd make my heart happy, but that's just the brain doesn't go there. No, I don't think so.
Ken Button says Anthony Richardson is the real deal. I saw his first game, then another year later in the year, he's different. Yeah, I mean, but again, like he kind of showed off his arm more at Florida, even though they didn't have. Who was that Kadarius Toney he had?
You're not discounting Ricky Pearsall, are you? You forgot Ricky Pearsall was there.
Was it Toney and Pearsall? Was it both?
No, I don't even think he had Toney for real.
Was it not him?
Because Toney was drafted to the Giants, like he got traded. Like Anthony Richardson wasn't even playing.
Yeah, who was his wide receiver?
Ricky Pearsall, bro. I'm telling you, Ricky Pearsall was there making snags. Wow. Yeah, that's when I first knew who Ricky Pearsall was.
Toney was quarterback for the Buccaneers. Kyle Trask. That's who it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he had Ricky Pearsall out there making plays.
Yeah, Pearsall's probably been in college the last 10 years. He played with all these QBs.
He's nice. Hey, who is he? He was training with Ocho the other day, I think it was.
Ricky Pearsall?
Jalen Waddle. Yeah.
Florida. That's because of Florida boys. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ocho out there. It's big
Ricky
time.
Pearsall, dog.
James, I love John, but we're just going to address this because it's funny. James says, "What do you think about John Macron being a little bitch and crying about golf, saying some sports media are just haters?" By the way, John ruptured the airwaves yesterday. If you missed it, please go watch it. We have it on our YouTube. He responds to golf's comments. That man, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being 100 with Macron right now because that's our guy. A lot of dislikes on that video. A lot of dislikes, more than we typically get. But hey, it's because John
he knows this too. I was on the opposite side. I liked what Jared Goff said, so I'm on the opposite side. I'm okay with it.
We were dying the entire time. That man
could not stop. That was Phil was going off, bro. Phil was not having that. He was trying to hold back. I haven't seen Phil in here yet either. Maybe he is, but I think Phil needed a little reprieve after yesterday's show.
Yeah, he needed a retreat, I think.
Yeah, by the way, what happened? I'm not even going to go there. Never mind.
No, wait, well,
nothing. Trust me. We'll talk about it off here. I was going to talk about what we were texting about this morning.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah. How dude. People people think
we're
talking shit about them.
Support who you want to support. You guys can put whatever you want
about anybody, man.
We won't tell you. We won't tell you what you can and can't put in our chat. I just wasn't happy about that.
The only person I've trashed are people that deserve to be trashed. I've never trashed anybody. I'm not that type of guy. Neither are you guys.
I love everyone over there. So like I don't care, but like that did make me mad. Like say what you want in our comments. We're not going to say like don't talk about these people. Don't do like dude. I shouldn't have gone there. Sorry. Hey, I love everyone. ELE. Booner loves everyone.
Yeah, we all. I mean, it's all. Hey, we're just doing what we love here. The Red Wings are on OT right now.
OT, dude. This is.
We're gonna witness a victory or a loss here. We'll get a live reaction before the stream's over. Hopefully, we'll see how quickly it can end here. Maybe it doesn't go to shootout, but regardless, Red Wings are holding on 5-5.
Gentry's a wreck right now. I bet.
Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, he definitely is. Fellas, we'll start mailbag. Get your questions ready. We got about 15 minutes, so we'll just hang out. I mean, tomorrow, by the way, we're gonna have a special guest on. All right, so I'm excited for tomorrow's show. So please wait for that. Next week we got some big things. Well, Friday. It's Friday. It's Feel Good Friday. So that's
Feel Good Friday, baby.
Yep, Feel Good Friday. And then the next couple of weeks are just stay tuned because this is where it gets ramped up a little bit. More breakdowns, more draft content, more of everything regarding the draft. So, hey, this is what time of the year we're at right now. We'll start with our first one. Eduardo O'Neill, Mailbag. Brad and DC say they love football players. How many people get told they can't do something when they love and give up? Well, Latu didn't, therefore he's got to be a DC AG guy. Do you guys see that graphic real quick about the name a player that the ML football thing? I got to pull it up here. I thought it was interesting. Let me.
Shout out ML.
It was like name a football player that it's like all the things you don't worry about off the field. And
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I got to
put Jared Goff.
Oh, here it is. Which NFL player is this? And we'll do this before we do mailbag, just because it just popped in my head. I thought this was a good little topic here. Let me see. All right, check this out. I saw this. It says, which NFL player is this? No drama, no allegations, no scandals, no arrests, just business and some damn good ball.
Brian Branch. That's the first dude who pops in my mind.
Jared Goff.
You know what's wild? When I saw this, am I the only one that thought of like 15 like Lions players?
Like the whole roster.
I literally just like Brian Branch just because of the interview after the combine last year. Like, yep, don't gotta worry about him.
Well, like Sam Laporta, like remember the Sam Laporta interview too? Like that same interview, like every guy they interviewed that they ended up drafting was just like unbelievable. Honestly, I would think the whole Lions roster. If that Cam Sutton thing didn't happen, I would think that about this whole Lions team. Like this Dan Campbell guys. Yeah. This is a Dan Campbell guy.
Especially Brian Branch with the Tom Grazzi story. Like where were they at the Super Bowl when he was like wanted to go? I was like, yeah, Brian Branch is probably just like a normal ass dude who plays football, bro.
Yeah, I thought of I thought of like Sewell, St. Brown, Brian Branch, Anzalone, like
Frank.
Jack Campbell, Frank Ragnow, Taylor
Derek
Decker,
Barnes,
CJ Gardner Johnson.
No. I'm gonna give him a no. I'm gonna give him a
None
no.
of that.
I will. Cam Sutton. I'm gonna give him a no. But hey, 90% of the roster. You know what? I'll even throw Michael Badgley a bone. I think, you know what? No drama. Jack Fox a bone.
No Hey, Matt Prater even had DUIs.
D-Mont. What'd you say?
D-Mont.
Matt Prater even had DUIs. That's why he got the boot in Denver.
Maybe you gotta find a kicker with DUIs, man. I mean, let's be real. You gotta get a little bit of that dog in him. Like he's got a little bit of that.
Hey, maybe that's what Prater was doing, bro. He was the 57-yarder to win the game. He had a Bud Light sitting on the bench and the water bottle.
Okay, you know what? In all seriousness,
no nerve.
Do not support DUIs. Don't do that. All right, but hey, but to be fair, if Badgley needs a shot before he goes out and kicks, maybe he get a little loose. You know, it's on him.
Dude, smelling salts are for, brother.
Dude, my God, smelling salts before a game-winning kick. That would be wild.
Wings
dude.
lost. Wings lost. Wings lost. Wings lost. Wings
No,
lost. Wings just
Gentry's
lost.
in pain. We need to FaceTime Gentry.
Did they really?
Send her the link.
I mean, you could say like positive. They got a point and the Capitals did it, so now you have the same amount of points as the Caps. But like, I don't know who has that tiebreaker. If I'm going to be honest, but I'm guessing we don't because we just lost. But they definitely just lost in OT. It might have been Sidney Crosby too. I'm pretty sure it was Sidney Crosby.
I fucking hate him. He's a loser. Sidney Crosby fucking sucks. So
absolute loser he is.
Oh my!
What a loser!
Gosh,
Sidney
that
Crosby.
is tough. Well, geez. Well, let's get to Mailbag here. All right, we'll start.
Unbelievable, dude. How do you not like? This is the thing. How do you not win games?
Yeah, I don't.
How? Pull us in. ECL
crunch time is appointment viewing for me out here on the West Coast. You guys are my favorite group of people to listen to ball.
Appreciate that,
talk
ECL.
Ball. Thank you for what you do, man. ECL on the West Coast too. We appreciate you. Thank you. That's big time. When people tell us, like people
from the West Coast, check it
out.
Yeah,
I'm West Coast. You got people from Michigan that obviously they tune into the program for Lions stuff, but even Lions fans across the country, we thank you. I mean, Lucas, you brought up yesterday people from Toledo showing some love. Mm-hmm. West Coast, East Coast, wherever, globally or nationally, we appreciate.
We've got people from Australia.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's a fact. I do know that.
Mike Reed asked Mailbag, do you have to buy a ticket to the VIP party to come say what's up to the Crunch Time crew? Well, to enter, yes. We can work some out, Mike. If you're outside and we come outside, we'll say what up to Mike. You know, we'll definitely.
I will do my Kool-Aid chug outside probably of the bar.
Yeah.
So if you get around there around the right time, you might see a.
Just because, and the reason why I say that, I don't mean to be like, yes, you have to buy a ticket. But it's on the third floor, so to get there, you got to have some sort of validity.
Hey, Jeff, why don't you answer this question for it? Why don't you answer this one here? I would love for you to answer this question. Talk to me. Let's have this. Let's have this discussion with Jesse. Jesse thinks that only Michigan fans love Joel Klatt. Why don't you let him know the good news here, buddy?
He says, Mailbag guys love Joel Klatt more at Jeff or all Michigan fans. Second question. Will you guys be talking college football in the fall or no? Second question, yes, we will. Plenty of
it.
We love
for sure. Football. Especially with the
Buckeyes. Hey,
get the bets in.
The Ohio State Buckeyes just dropped $12 million in the transfer portal this offseason. We're definitely talking some Buckeyes. Booner.
Imagine doing all of that and still losing. That sucks, dude.
Hey, I will say, Boone, to be fair, man. I am a big Joe Klatt guy. He is very high in a lot of Michigan players. He loves Michigan. Obviously, he's covered a lot of Michigan games. That's like where he is all the time. I would argue I am. I love Joel Klatt more.
I think you're the biggest one I know.
I tune into damn near everything he posts. So yes, he's up there for me. So it's just.
I love Jesse, dude. I'm a big fan of Jesse Adams, dude. I'm a fan of Jesse Adams. That's why I like Jesse Adams.
We gotta shut down Mailbag.
Oh,
we have a ghost.
Oh, dude, and he's got the Red Wings gear on.
We have a ghost.
Oh, no.
No.
Stevie bye. Stevie
No.
bye.
Wait. Can I ask a question, Gentry? Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Serious question here. So they are now currently tied with the Capitals. Is that a good or a bad thing? And do they have the tiebreaker or not?
They don't over the Capitals, but
disaster.
there's like 3 teams with 85 points. I want to say there's like 2 games that are still finishing at the moment, but I know the Flyers picked up 2 points. But I mean, it was a really good effort. I mean, I didn't think they were coming back at all. And Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin, those guys, they gave it their all. I mean, they got a point. I think there's like a 30% chance still. I feel like I've said that like every other day. It's 50%, 30%, 50%. But they still have a chance, luckily, I guess, because they picked up that point. But I would assume they would have to win out. But it ultimately depends on these other teams. But again, not looking so hot.
Oh
Jeez.
man, I'm very disappointed in this franchise right now.
I mean,
To say the
Raymond.
least.
Raymond gave it his all, Mike. What do you have? 4 points. I mean, that guy.
Oh, Phil! Shout out Phil. Phil's in the chat now.
Hey, Raymond was playing with a K in his first name tonight.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
that's fair. 3 Genos and an assist, Mike. Come on.
I know, and it felt like every time they did, score a goal or get some momentum going, they would take a penalty or something, or just let a goal up right back and kind of bring themselves out of the game. But I mean, that top line stepped up, but they're going to need. I mean, like I said, they're probably going to need 3 Ws the way this playoff push has been going, and these other teams have been battling too. So.
Gentry, let's just again cut the shit. I mean, Patrick Kane, is Patrick Kane? You saw us farewell. I mean, is he coming back? What are we doing?
I think people look too much into that, to be honest. Like dissecting those words a little bit too much. I mean, I've said it for the past month now. I don't think he's leaving, and even after those comments, I still don't think he's leaving. I think, as far as the situation goes, his family's all here. His wife and DeBrincat's wife and their kids are all good friends and whatnot, hang out, almost every day. So I think the situation works out really well for him here as far as family goes. And I think the Red Wings are going to be willing to offer him that top dollar that some teams may not for a player like Patrick Kane, with his age, even though he's been far productive this year. But I still don't think he's going anywhere, honestly. I didn't get spooked by that interview with Brad Galley, who's absolutely a fantastic reporter, by the way.
Oh, look at PR Gentry. No, I'm just kidding. No, I saw that. And I was like, I gotta send this to Mike, dude. See what's going on with Patrick Kane.
I know it was funny because I think I said something.
Right, you can just see this is like a deep pain where it's like you can see he's bummed out, but it hasn't hit him yet.
Usually, he's got his chest up. He's all, now he's kind of like, yeah, guys.
He doesn't even have the energy to take a stab at the Pistons. He's just taking the L. He's just taking the
Jeff,
L.
what shirt do you have on over there, Jeff?
The rest of the year. What was that?
What's that shirt Jeff has on over there? Is that another Pistons shirt?
Why are we focused on me?
I'm just saying.
Hey, Jeff, turn the camera a little bit to the right after you're done as well.
Detroit versus
everybody. I know what you're
doing. Pan
the
camera, or well, to your left. Pan the camera to the left a little bit.
Why?
Is there not a jersey that hangs?
No. No, I don't think
so. Is there not a jersey that hangs?
Hold on.
I hope he grabs the right jersey too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's going deep in the bag.
I don't know. Hold on. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, burn it. Burn it.
Oh,
You had that hanging on your wall, Jeff.
No, I don't. I have it in my closet. I do have a Killian Hayes jersey. I don't know what to fucking do with it, boy. It's like I got it when he was drafted.
You just gotta burn it. That'd be great content.
So
next time we come over, next time we go to a legitimate franchise like a Lions or Gentry sells and take me to my first Red Wings game.
Hey.
A Tigers game as well. We can burn that as the pregame ritual for a win. Burn a Killian Hayes jersey for a win. jersey swap.
Killian cut mine.
Hollywood Hayes.
Yeah.
That's that Hollywood Hayes. J.J. Hollywood Hayes.
Yeah, Jesse Adams. I did see this, or I do know of this rather.
Yeah,
So now
Jesse.
I get to watch the Red Wings lose, and then who
Is
knows
this
what Michigan.
Is this another shot? Is this a shot at Michigan from Jesse? I just want to know, Jesse. You put it in the chat and confirm because like Michigan beat Michigan State to get to the Frozen Four, so I don't know. If this, I just want to make sure this is a shot or not. It felt like a shot. Felt like one.
Well, this is definitely a shot, ETN. That's like a Chiefs fan wearing a Kadarius Toney jersey. That's kind of fucked up, actually. Yeah,
I would say even worse. Kadarius Toney made plays in a Super Bowl to help him win one. He scored. He actually made an impact.
Kadarius Toney does have a Super Bowl. He does have a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's just a fact.
Yeah,
that's fair. Well,
that would be like
that'd be like
a Bills. That'd be like a Bills fan having an EJ Manuel jersey.
I think that's A.
That's what that would be.
Yeah, that's fair. ETN says, "Am I incorrect?" No, you are not incorrect. You're not. This pisses me off.
Wait, was that what? That was a Killian Hayes jersey you put on?
Yeah.
Who were you?
Oh my gosh, dude! I was zoned out. I was reading the chat. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable, dude. We should burn that. We should make content and burn that.
Booner, you missed out on that. I literally said we should burn a Killian jersey as a pregame ritual for when we actually go to a legitimate franchise's game to get a win.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, we can do it. That's a fair content idea.
I was zoned out, dude. I was reading.
Just sad.
You know what's funny? Actually,
did you pay your own money or was that a gift?
It was a gift from Lex. Shout out to Lex, Mike.
Okay. Oh no, Lex! No,
don't you put that on Lex. Don't you put that on her.
That's my girl. She got me. Listen, it was when he first was drafted. My birthday. It's towards the season. You know, she was like, "Hey, I got you. He's a rookie. Like, I'm excited about what he can be." And then it's just been sitting in that closet. And I look at
arguably, that's the worst decision Lex has ever made in your guys' relationship.
Well. You know what the funny thing is? It's like she's like, because obviously she doesn't know. She's like, "Oh, you gonna wear your like Killian Hayes jersey?" I'm like, "Babe, not now. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna get roasted. Like, I can't do this." She's like, "Okay, I bought it. Like, yeah, like wear it." I'm like, "I know. I appreciate it. I just can't fucking wear it."
You don't know what you did.
Yeah,
you don't know what you've done.
Like, I don't even know. It is what it is. But yeah, well, Phil says, "Did she wear it?" Honestly, Phil, she can have it at this point. She can have it. Timothy says, "Mailbag, Red Wings still have a good chance if you look at our schedule compared to the Caps and Pens. It is easier too."
That's what I've been saying. I mean, they kind of play the same similar teams down the stretch. They've kind of played the same similar teams, but then the Red Wings finish off with the Canadians back to back, which is a favorable matchup, I would say. But the Canadians have been playing good hockey, and I mean, so
good puck.
Well,
I'm counting on it. I'm banking on no playoffs, to be honest.
Shout out to Timothy, by the way, fellas. We met Timothy at billiards. You guys remember? So
shout out, yeah.
Timothy's real one. Kamikaze says, "Don't burn the jersey. Your girl got it, Jeff." Oh yeah, that's what I'm in right now, Kamikaze.
No, we're burning it. We're burning it.
Yeah. It's like a sacrifice. Like, we're doing some like what's it called? What's that shit in Cali where all the billionaires meet and burn stuff? What is it called? That sacrifice? Like ritual? No, the
ritual. I think you're saying every word that it is. A ritual sacrifice.
No, wait.
Like that's everything.
Why am I blanking? What's
like the Bohemian Grove?
The Bohemian Grove. Oh, dude, that's such a. Have you ever seen that episode or that show that movie that he did? Crazy, dude. We had a DVD growing up of it. Watched it.
Yeah,
it was one of the more wild things of all time. It's crazy, dude.
Love him or hate him, Alex Jones is fucking wild. Alex Jones is wild.
A lot of his shit he said. Well, I couldn't say that. Some things that man have said.
Wait, real quick. Let's be careful on the Alex Jones talk.
You want to talk about hit or misses? Alex Jones swings for the fences every time, and that man has
some are missing.
I'm pretty
sure home runs, but that he's a Javi Baez.
Yeah,
dude, guys, I'm 90% sure he's gotten sued for the Sandy Hook thing, and I'm pretty sure he got sued for like billions, and he doesn't even have that much money. Like, he's done for the rest of his life because he's sued for more than he has. Like, he has no money.
What happened literally today, Boone? He's now suing the CIA because he found out that one of the CIA investigators was like it was known that they were out to get Alex Jones. So
He
now
he
has
needs money,
So
dude.
he's suing the CIA. I don't know how that even works.
All right,
It's
well,
like,
hey,
it's like what's that one Dos Equis, the most interesting man in the world? It's just Alex Jones. Like, dude, who is this guy?
hey, see, well, we'll see.
Wait,
you
real
later.
quick.
We'll get
Should we
out of here.
address this?
Okay,
Jesse.
because
Booner.
this kind of
Yeah,
proves
I have
his
to
point,
address it.
Boone.
Proving his point. This
You're
is
proving
proving
his
Yes, but I
point.
just-
He's
this
in
is
your
the
head,
thing.
Boone. Look at he said,
Jesse
he said I'm in
said-
Booner's head. He's like, let me get to this comment before we leave.
let me address this real quick. This is the thing with it. We win, you lose. All right, that was it.
Okay.
rent free.
Winners.
Jesse,
No, Jesse,
Jesse's
you're not
rent free.
winners.
Jesse's
You
rent
could be
free.
rent free in a winner's head.
Any day of the
This is
week.
what it's like to live. This is what it's like to live in a winner's head. Welcome. Get familiar with
A
it.
winner.
You'll never see it.
A winner. I love that shit. All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. It was a great show today. Love you, fellas.
Love
I'll
you
catch you
guys,
tomorrow,
man.
8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Subscribe. Like the stream. Constant support means everything to us. And don't forget, buy your tickets.
Jesse.
Because I just got a text, by the way, for those who stayed. Got a text from Scotty. Got a text from Scotty. He texted me who might make an appearance.
Can you tell us off air?
You're gonna want to be there.
I'm telling
Call
you
from the
off
deep.
air, this is big. Big time. Too
Dude, if it's who I think
So-
it is, I think I might run through this table right now. I think I
Big.
know who it is.
Don't do it.
big. All right, we'll do this. We'll do that. No, I meant
Don't put
okay.
up a scale.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Love all you
Appreciate it.
guys.